Um, so was it the Eclipse that's done this?
No.
The Eclipse didn't do this. That's not who's to blame.
No, it's me to blame. So yesterday I was running into like, you know when your modem just decides to tell you to go fuck yourself?
The modem is responsible for this?
No, let me get there. But you know when that happens?
Yeah.
And you run the technical issues and then you finally get it fixed. And you're like an hour and a half late. And you're like, well, I was going to trim right before the show. So I still have time if I hurry. And then you run in and you grab the small trimmer instead of the regular trimmer with the guard, and you grab it from the bottom of your neck all the way up to over your chin up to your lip, and you're like, I just gave myself a dirtbag Harry Dubois fucking biker skinhead fucking cut.
The Raoul.
And then I called Paige and I sent her a picture. And I'm like, should I try and save this? And she's like, you can try. And then every time I tried, I looked more like a criminal. And then I was like, maybe I can just go with the mustache. And then it was oscillating between like sex pervert
other
and
kind of criminal.
Yeah,
different kinds of
I'm
criminal.
like, you know what? I'm just gonna start over.
Oh boy, okay.
It'll be back next week.
For our faithful MP3 listeners, Pat has returned to Greg mode.
That's Egg Pat.
Isn't Egg Pat's when the head goes too, though?
Yeah, but I got to get rid of the head because the longer hair on my top of my head. Sorry, the sides of my head.
Okay, well, there's only so much
beard is awful.
There's only so much excitement that baby can take. So,
he doesn't care.
Really?
Doesn't give a shit.
Huh? Because hair changing is one of those things that you always see memes about.
Yeah. Didn't give a single solitary shit. It was wild. I was expecting like trouble.
Okay.
And I got none. It was all right.
Yeah, I guess that's probably good, unless it's like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, maybe.
But
I got a friendly little baby, so maybe he didn't recognize me, and he was just like, "Hello."
Yeah, because it also is probably less of a dramatic change compared to like someone with big dark hair and like a whole shape change, because you imprint the shape of someone's head. And when
it's possible. When
that changes, it's like, make it come back. Well, what happened?
Hey, Wooly, I'll tell you what. I was sitting here and I'm like, there's more than 0% chance that we started the podcast and you were just like, I'm blind. And I'm glad to see that you're not blind.
I'm not blind.
I'm very happy about that.
Yeah. So,
if you
I take it that...
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I don't know if you checked out Google Trends lately, but there is a sudden massive interest spike for the phrase "my eyes hurt" on Google in states that are in the direct path of the fucking eclipse.
I learned a long time ago in childhood from magazines and my mom and science class and everywhere that like, hey, when you're doing eclipse staring, be careful. You got to know how to do it and what the windows of time that are safe and are not safe are, and how to make a pinhole thing and such. But yeah, the eclipse happened and I went to go check it out. It sounds like if your eyes were not at risk that you didn't.
Nah, man, I don't care.
Yeah. So I
was smooching my baby.
Yeah.
And making mistakes with my hair.
So I initially also was kind of like in a not caring mood. I was also kind of nonplussed ultimately because I had been around for there was 2 partial eclipses I remember getting. I got one in elementary school and I got one during college. And then there was lunar eclipse that my mom took us out to go check out as well. And in all cases, it was like, oh, that's kind of cool, you know?
Cool.
Yeah, it was kind of all right. And the partials were like, yeah, okay, I can kind of see what's going on there. That's neat. But it was never a total eclipse. So I was ultimately just like, yeah, I remember going through these, and it was like it wasn't that big a deal. But Punch Mom was like really excited and really wanted to go, and was like, oh, let's go check this out, And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do that. But I know that just having done it before, it was like, yeah, it was just a little fun thing, no big deal. The city was giving out glasses as well, so you had protective eyewear for everybody.
Well, that's nice.
You could go grab around wherever you lived here. And yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, so it's passing over Montreal, but like you can go a little bit further south to get closer to the center, because if you're on like over the whole city, you're going to get about 60 seconds of it. But if you go a little bit further south, you can get up to 4 minutes.
Oh, that's quite a bit.
That's quite a bit. So, yeah, so it was one of those things where we drove a bit further south to get to, where we could get a bit more time in the Richelieu area. If you remember your.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then upon doing it and it happening, it was way cooler than I expected. Okay. And I went in kind of like, yeah. And when it happened, I was like, okay, this is fucking cool. So it by doing it and getting a longer version of it, it convinced me how rad that shit was. Because when it's happening, the lead up to it and afterwards is essentially like the sky darkens a bit, and you start to see like a bite out of the cheese, if you're looking at it with the special lens and stuff. But up until that last little moment where it completely goes over, that sudden moment of like, and now it's nighttime, and now shadows are weird, and now animals and insects don't know what's going on and are reacting weirdly, and that sudden effect is just really like, whoa. And then and then you looked at it with the naked eye for that safe window of about a minute, and then when it comes back out the other side and like a giant halo-ish form around it is happening, it's like, oh yeah, like people are going to get video in 4K and all kinds of cool shots from airplanes, but
we got that Waffle House photo making the rounds.
Yes, everyone who made a plan in advance did something pretty sick. I was like, yeah, that's good shit. Good planning there. But as much as it is cliche to say it, it is like, oh yeah, but looking around while it's happening, you're taking in more than I think a video is going to capture. Like it's very interesting and crazy and cool to experience. And then on top of that, it was like, and the last time this happened on this line in this area was in the 30s. So everything else you're going to get is a partial eclipse from here on out, unless you want to become a chaser,
Which
I
don't think so.
Yeah, which I discovered. There's tornado chasers. There's eclipse chasers, of which we saw the spot we picked, which was just on we pulled off to like a spot that we just found on our own. But there was a couple from California that was there, so they were like clearly looking to find themselves a nice spot.
I don't agree with the term you're using. I'm sure that's what the eclipse people call themselves, because like tornadoes like
eclipse chasers
form out of nowhere and like are random. Like you're not chasing something that is going to happen 60 years in advance.
Yeah, it is calculated. It's not so much a chase. But I also know that people like chase bands across the countries as they perform in predetermined
those people
locations.
Are freaks.
It's pretty nuts. And ultimately the word is kind of ruined, because once upon a time it just meant the thing you drink after you take a shot.
Yeah.
But it at some point became bug chasing.
Like I had a Pepsi just now.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna chase that Pepsi with a can of Purple Monster. Whoa.
Well, as long as you're chasing it with a can of Purple Monster and not a pause load.
Okay.
So
all right, that's enough.
The term, yeah. All right, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. So anyways, eclipses.
No, I don't want to.
Eclipses are pretty cool, and it is one of those bits where when it happens to, it's like, okay, you can see every movie cover, every poster, every moment of a fucking KOF Kusanagi logo, you know, going off in your head, and all these different things. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of lore and mystery around this sudden moment where the whole world turns dark. No wonder there's a bunch of fiction that's obsessed with that. But also there's like apparently a historical battle where a Roman army was fighting while an eclipse happened, I think. And they were all, and everyone went, oh, fuck, do the gods hate this? Or did we fuck up? Is this the wrong thing?
Probably.
So shit like that happening back in a time when you didn't know what the fuck was going on would have been absolute sign that, yeah, gods are real and they are approving or disapproving or something. Something is happening and people are going to get killed if that goes down in the middle of a battlefield.
Hey, let me ask you a question. I've been thinking about this all week about the eclipse. If you know someone and they looked at the eclipse and they went somewhat or totally blind, are you obligated to feel bad for them at all?
I don't know what the education is for everybody on this, but I really learned many times the dangers of staring at the sun, and especially during the eclipse.
I feel like if they were a child, then I would blame the parent, right?
Yeah, I got a lesson from my parents, and then I read Ranger Rick magazine, which had a bunch of pictures of animals, and then a little thing that said, hey, eclipses are cool, you can look at them, but be sure to make sure you know when to do it, and only for a brief period. And then my teacher in school also reiterated that. And like when we went outside to do it with the pinhole, it was like, again, do not look for, you know, the wrong period of time. So I guess I feel like there were, you know what I mean? There's multiple stop signs. I feel like
we're about to enter into like an unprecedented era of, listen, I looked at the eclipse and I've gone blind. You can't make fun of me because something.
I mean, I know that there's a lot of SpongeBob gifs getting dropped, but yeah, no. Not to mention, as someone who then so what I did was I put the shades on the top half of my eyes, and then was able to like kind of look at both in a way. The moment there's a very clear sign of when it's time to stop looking. Like it turns, and then you see the silhouette, you see the burning ring. And then the sky is all there. And then there starts to be a little twinkle on the opposite side. And then there's a very bright but not painful shine that flares out in your eyes. And it's a very clear indicator of like, oh, now's the time. You'll know.
Yeah, because the sun is bad for you.
You know the moment where it starts to kind of be too bright and hurt again, but it's not completely hurting? That's the time to stop. So... yes, don't look past the
hey guys,
the damage occurring.
Welcome to the Castle Super Beast episode 260 something. Don't look at the sun. Don't do it. Don't do it.
You can do it with protective material and the right precautions.
But even then, like,
no, you can, and it's cool when you do it properly.
It's the only thing in the whole world, literally, that everyone is taught to don't look at that since the very beginning.
Yeah, no, it's insane to feel the pain and then be like, I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna keep it going, because it really is like until the last like 30 seconds that you still can't look, you know. But anyway, that was a cool once in a lifetime, but not really, but. Yes, because I'm not going to go out of my way for it. It can be more often if you do want to go distances for it. But it's like looking at it now, to get 4 minutes of that vibe, I would be willing to drive a couple hours.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't be willing to get on a plane. That would be ridiculous. But I'd be willing to drive a couple hours and make a nice picnic out of it, you know. I brought my kites just in case. Didn't have an opportunity to use them, but you know, it's the kind of thing where you can find a nice activity to make use of it. But yeah, shit was dope.
Yeah, I'm totally disinterested. I don't know why, because I'm into astrophysics and I'm into planetary shit, and I'm just like,
It wasn't until it was
know.
happening. I felt that way too until it was going down, and I was like, oh, this is a lot cooler than the ones that I've done before.
I guess I'm just a you had to be there hater.
Perhaps, maybe. It's way different to get the. Yeah. Anyway, have you ever been dragged to like a party and then you're like, oh yeah, you know what, this was fun.
Yeah.
It's a little. It's kind
every single party I've ever been to in my entire life.
Okay, so it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like, yeah, that was cool, man. That was dope. A little bit of that, you know. That's the best way to put it. And yeah, you know, and then now you get a bunch of cool pictures and you get
memories.
Yeah, and then also it's also fascinating to kind of like see I guess like as you learn the math of how that is all working, and it's like, oh, the strip of shadow is like a band across the planet, and the way that works is based on like not just the orbit of the moon and us, but like this Earth's rotation, and there's a cool like element
it's a whole mess.
It is, and it's pretty interesting, and it's also interesting to think about how, like, you know, we're feeling the heat from a light source like infinity billion unfathomable distance away from us, but the shadow that can be cast is so instantaneous because it's only happening from the moon's distance away from us, you know. And so
it's wild because like the moon is the perfect size to cause these total eclipses to happen. Like if it was a little smaller, you wouldn't be able to get it.
No.
And if it was a little bigger, you wouldn't see the ring at all.
Yeah, and again, you know, lunar is a bit of a mismatch because the Earth is way bigger. But like when you go with the specific order of moon in front of sun, it's that perfect covering. And it's also it's that perfect distance where the shadow is able to be cast from just the moon's distance away. But then the temperature, you start to feel it get colder a little bit right away as well, you know. And then the temperature change that shifts back once it's uncovered again is like, wow, that's science shit. There was an era when I feel like, I mean, you mentioned yourself, but yeah, Punch Mom and I remember we were super into like science stuff and cool science posting, and you know, back in the day on Facebook, there was I fucking love science was a fun follow.
Yeah, back when it would actually,
you know,
it wasn't the dead internet.
Yeah, and then but also like dead adulthood just like kind of beats the wonder out of you somewhat, and you start being
there's cool stuff in space. It's hard.
But there's a point where once upon a time I would be like, yo, tardigrades, that's fucking crazy. What is this thing? You know, and then
has that left for you?
Somewhat. Unfortunately, I can feel it has, and for Punch Mom as well, we've had conversations about how like, yeah, a little bit of that wonder and stuff is kind of gone, but it's just it's dulled over in a way that sucks.
That sucks.
Yeah, like life finds a way to put higher stressors and things. Because like,
I didn't feel that way. And that the shine never came off it. What happened is that like actual advancements in astronomy have been slow because you have to make bigger and bigger telescopes and devices.
Yeah.
And they take years and years and years to fucking come back. But now I'm in the part where pretty soon I'm going to be able to just lie and say the moon's made out of cheese.
There's that. You can just go into that world. That's fun.
And laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh.
It is true that when we were kids, the advancement speed was a lot faster. Things were happening quickly. Discoveries were going a lot faster as well. So it was more exciting to keep up with. Things did slow down because budget cuts, because, you know, prioritization of spending, and then you know, and I would catch things about how it's like, okay, well, they have to build a bigger telescope, and there's only specific places they can build it. But like,
well, there's the one really good place to build a big telescope, and that's in fucking space.
Yeah, but there's the other place, which is the mountain that Hawaii is that's sacred to Hawaiians, and it's like that would be a shitty thing. So then it's like, okay, well then what? You know, they got to figure that out, and a million small reasons why you know, you don't get as many fast and interesting discoveries, but you do get shit like, yo, the latest telescope gets launched and gets cool pictures, and we can see wilder, crazier shit. And at the same time, I would say that like there were a couple of moments too where that whimsy that I feel like I'm describing being lost, it was reignited with like Planet Earth 4K footage.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Planet Earth fucking brought that back hard for a minute, and that was sick. Doesn't happen all the time, but every once in a while, you know, I was like, oh man, I remember, yeah, because like I said, like there was a time when every especially during Sabbath, during, you know, sundown Friday to Saturday, I can read my nature magazines. So Ranger Rick and Owl magazine were the shit, and World as well.
When I was a little kid, I wanted to be an astronaut, and then somebody explained to me that being an astronaut was really hard. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm not good enough to be an astronaut. And then by the time I was old enough to fight that thought, being an astronaut just stopped happening.
I mean, you can ISS astronaut, but you can't, like,
whatever.
You know.
Put my fucking boots on the moon, please.
You can do cool.
Oh, we don't do that anymore? Oh,
no,
well, fucking give up now.
But you can do blog videos about like water and fluid dynamics, and
I don't give a fuck.
You know, yeah, that's what it like. Astronaut nowadays means like chilling on the ISS and making TikToks. But yeah, once upon a time. Also,
you need to be in space to make a TikTok.
Also, there was there's the other bit where I'm sure like the astronaut requirements for just athleticism and you know brains, and you got to be the perfect ideal Captain America type.
And even as a small child,
you know.
a small child, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna look like Buzz Aldrin getting into that goddamn astronaut spacesuit.
Height is a factor.
So it's time to give up and read my EGM and play my video games. Thank you.
You ever see Little Miss Sunshine?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you remember
that movie is like, if you haven't seen the movie Little Miss Sunshine, it starts out like National Lampoon's Summer Vacation, and then just turns into like a really intense, sad movie.
Yeah.
At random.
No good. But in that it's the older brother, right? His whole storyline is one of
yeah, it's brutal.
It's brutal, having dreams that cannot be accomplished, and you kind of. Yeah, I guess there's a point where you hit that. I don't think I've never had the astronaut like dream per se. It's never anything like I never had that. It was pretty much always media kind of related, you know. But like I don't know.
I wanted to hang out on the moon. The astronaut shit was like a side, like it was like a prerequisite.
Okay, I had that, but that turned into like wanting to skydive, and then that turned into, yo, there's indoor skydiving places where you can be like weightless for a minute.
See, that's goofy, because to me, no, when I said like I wanted to be on the moon, like when you said skydive, I'm like, what is skydive? That's getting closer to the earth when you're falling.
Yeah, but you get to feel the...
No, I don't care about feel. I want my fucking feet in some moon dust.
Because it's clean and perfect.
No, it's fucking cool to be on the moon. That's it. That's it. It's so singular.
I think the coolest part about being on the moon is the gravity part of it. So that's why
I think the coolest part about being on the moon is you're on the fucking moon. How crazy is that?
It's
holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. But
there's moon plants and moon animals around.
I mean, sure.
You pet a moon dog?
A bunch of Nazis on the dark side, you know, chilling, waiting, biding their time. Yeah.
John Madden's ghost lives up there.
It's kind of like it's kind of like, I guess, like hiking in a way, where like you hike to a spot and then you're able to take in that spot, and that's the payoff for going to that spot.
When Paige and I went to Inari Shrine in Kyoto, right? We got like most of the way up, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And like, I was not okay. I looked like shit.
Right.
Because I'm a small, overweight little man who plays video games.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Come on, let's just go back down." And I'm like, "I'm not gonna come all the way out to fucking Kyoto, Japan, and climb 2/3 of the way up a mountain." Like, and oh my god, I would be so fucking embarrassed.
But yeah, for me, for me personally, and this might be a minority opinion, but I'm like, it's also why I'm fucking loving jetpacks and all that bullshit. The concept of gravity being fucked with, weightlessness, jumping high, all of that is so cool to me. I love that so much more.
Water jetpacks now.
You can. Water jetpacks are sick. The arm ones are sick too, but they require you to have an insane core. But I love all that, and that being a side effect of being on the moon for me eclipses the part where you get to enjoy being there. I would be way more into hiking if like you could like jump off to like higher to like a different gravity effect. Wow. And experience that at some point, you know.
At the end of the day, you have to realize something important. Is that no matter how many moon trips or eclipses I see, ain't none of that would have been a better use of my time yesterday than just poking my little man in the stomach and calling him Stinky.
That is in fact, that does battle the eclipse for priority. The eclipse becomes a tertiary objective at that point. What's going on?
Let's see. I smashed my phone to bits last week.
On purpose?
No.
Okay.
No, not on purpose. If I wanted to destroy something in a fit of baby rage, it would be my pillow. And it would be... And then you get like one punch into the pillow and you're like... Oh, this just isn't...
Yeah.
This isn't what my like emotions are looking for.
No. I suggest wraps.
Then you go for a walk.
16-ounce gloves and a punching bag.
Yeah. No, I was walking the dog and I got a text message and I pulled my phone out and my phone fell out of my pocket and it fell onto like a little gravel dirt, like, you know, not sidewalk kind of thing. And there was like a singular pebble in there and it didn't break the glass. It destroyed the screen underneath the glass. The glass is fine.
Oh, that. Yeah.
It's not even scratched. And so the bottom third of my telephone is ruined. Is
that caseless that you're rolling?
Well, I've got the case that protects the back.
Okay.
But not the front because that's so bulky and horrible. And this phone did last me 3-4 years.
I was gonna say, so like, what's your timeline on it, right? Yeah.
So I was like thinking about it anyway. So I was like, okay. But it's so badly damaged that all my text messages are coming out like an insane person because the part that is no screen, like it's just black screen, is where the keyboard is. So I'm just having to fat thumb it and just hope that the people I'm talking to understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, older tactile phones were more resilient, but when the screen did eventually bust on you, you could still blind type and text just by hitting the buttons and
old tactile phones were more resilient unless it rained. I vividly remember like having to run for cover because if drops of water got onto my Motorola, it would just explode.
I didn't have any issues with the clamshell I was using. It felt like it was more or less fine as long as it was on the outside. But
so yeah, I'll get a new phone. So I'll probably be talking about a bunch of phone games next week because if you get a new phone, you gotta justify it to yourself somehow by throwing something on there.
If you're getting
But I did. Yeah, it's just I'm sad. I'm sad about my phone. I broke it. I played way more Dragon's Dogma, which I see you also played more Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah, kept poking at that.
I found the Sphinx for the second time, and I correctly defeated all of the Sphinx's riddles. What a great fucking encounter. That is the best thing in the whole game. Easy. It is fantastic.
I'm basically holding out to see what that's all about, while wandering a little bit around. Like I was beelining for a bit, and then I stopped to do a couple side quests here and there. But yeah, I want to see what this big Sphinx deal is.
Well, she's out of the way, so you gotta really get out there to get a hold of her. And she has a bunch of riddles, and the riddles are all fucking great. They are great. They also are not in terms of absurdity, but they are somewhat similar to not text adventure, point and click riddles to a degree, in that they require you to intuit what the person who designed it wanted you to do.
Okay.
They're not like, hey, what walks on 2 legs and 3 legs and 4 legs, kind of riddle, right? They're like, use the game's internalized mechanics to solve this kind of thing, but that includes figure out the developer logic behind it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you're talking around it, and I'm legit curious to see what all this means. The one thing I did see was a video of someone jumping on a titty and grabbing on, and then I was like, what?
Yeah, just jump on it.
Yeah,
it's fine.
This game has its I feel like the Itsuno looked at illusory walls in Dark Souls 1 and went, those are great. and just went like, yes, let's work that into our own way. There's the hidden flaps and doors, corners that lead to things that are not super clear on how to open and stuff. And in some cases, it's a matter of turning the right corner and baiting an enemy to bash the gate open.
I think my favorite one was there was a door I could not figure out how to open, to the point where I had to hit up Susie and be like, Susie, how the fuck do you open this door?
I bet you I know which door, but go on.
Cave. Mm-hmm. It's the one that connects to the encampment in the elf.
Yep,
cave.
That's the exact. I was about to talk about. I was about to talk about that exact door and how I scraped in circles, and I was like, oh, here's my other exit to this cave, and then there's this, and I'm like, am I an idiot? What am I missing? And then
am I stupid? And then in the asked Susie, and she's like, yeah, go back at night. So skeletons will open the door for you. And I'm like,
oh, no. I was there at night. That's not at all what happened.
So how the fuck did you do it?
Well, it's not open yet, but it is initiate the next quest line step with the elf back in Vermund. And apparently that leads to that door getting open. But if you do the first part of that quest and then walk up into that area, into that cave, it's going to be a locked door.
Oh, I left, rested, went back in, quit out, and reloaded to reopen the fucking thing, and
you have to initiate that part of the elf quest. The first part of it doesn't do it. I
did all his stupid shit.
So that's one of the bits, right?
I did all his stupid shit. He's chasing my dick.
Well, there's no skeletons there to do it. And I noticed in another cave that there was a zombie that you have to shoot from far away to bait you to come to you, which is perfect because I switched over to Archer, so I was messing around with that. So yeah. Anyway, whatever. People making up bullshit. In this case, there was nothing to target, so there's nothing to open the door there. So that required the elf quest to continue. But then scraping back around the other side of that, I went up to a part where I was like, there must be a way past this thing, and then it was like, oh yeah, one section of this wall is breakable, but I'm like, oh god, the asset for rock that can be broken was there.
It's highly similar.
It looks,
is what it
it
is.
blends right into an unbreakable rock, and the pawns never pointed out anything about it until like the 5th time walking through that area, where it's like, oh, this area is breakable, and then Wooly the pawn runs to the area below and starts swinging at nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, he must be swinging at something here, but it can't be that. So therefore it must be this, and then it worked. And I was like, Jesus Christ, you janked into a it's like it's an illusory wall that
fun playing this game, and the further I get into it, okay, oh god, Dragon's Dogma 1 was like this too. I'm having so much fun playing this game, and the further I get into it, the less finished it feels.
Oh yeah, it feels that way a lot.
Once you get to, I'm sure you've seen people talk about Batal, the Beastren nation to the south. You get to Batal, and like the game's questing experience just evaporates. Like in the main city, that's like the equivalent to Vermund, there are 4 quests that I found talking to everyone. I'm sure there's like 1 or 2 more, but like it evaporates. And the area is just as big as Vermund, so it's just like lots and lots of like, man, there's a lot of enemies in this area. And they are they're like aggro zones are overlapping onto each other. So you go down there and you fight your fucking ass off.
Yeah. It's this is the game Willie accepted. Of course I accept it. I get that it's all janking its way through. It's just it's
very janky.
It's janking in a way that is like, sometimes I'm like, look at that jank go, and other times I'm like, I don't enjoy that type of jank. You know what's been happening?
What's been happening?
My sessions have been stopping based on when Dragon's Dogma crashes, which it's reliably going to do. Then it's time for me to switch over to Helldivers. And then when Helldivers crashes, which it's reliably going to do, then I can switch over to Balatro. And that'll be my night. The game will tell me when to stop playing because it's been happening so consistently.
That's great.
You
so
know,
did you do your part pushing did you do your part eradicating the automatons over the weekend?
I did my part, you know.
We got them. They're gone. They're completely dead, and they're gone, and they're back, and they have taken like 15 planets, and it's worse than it's ever been. Yeah.
In both cases, when I'm losing upwards of, 15 or 20 minutes of roaming and shit, that's like, god damn it, guys. God fucking damn it. At least once it happened in a long fight, and I resumed just before the fight started, so that was okay. But like,
I found
I
Dragon's
can't
Dogmas.
believe how often both of these games are crashing.
I found Dragon's Dogmas, like, I'm gonna use air quotes, constant autosave to wildly vary in terms of what it thinks is an important time to autosave. Because I've had the game crash, or I've left, or whatever, and like I didn't lose anything. It saved it, and like 5 times in a row, it saved all the right places. And then I will have like what I can only describe as a Mass Effect 1 situation, where you're like, why was the autosave 30 minutes ago? Why?
Yeah. At least by getting your house, the in costs aren't a continuing thing. But you get, I want to say, like, if a pawn is about to ask you a question that you have to answer with a prompt, with a gesture, you get the first 4 words to actually answer the sentence, and then by the time the rest of the sentence plays out, it's too late. So it's like, hey, master, I think there's a treasure chest. By the time the word chest is said, if you say go, it's like, nope, it's too late. Somewhere around these parts.
I don't care anymore. You're telling me to go for the quest, right?
Go. Go. I interrupted you saying the sentence. Go. No, the window's gone. So I have.
So I'd like to clarify something that someone in the chat said, because this type of thing needs to be clarified. They say that the house you buy doesn't count as an in-rest, so you don't get any RC. It absolutely does. You're completely wrong. Your pawn just sucks, and no one is hiring them.
Oh, that's a lie.
It's
That's
also been
true.
found that Capcom is auto-hiring loser pawns every now and then.
Yeah.
Like,
no. It 100%. It does the whole like your pawns come back from the rift, and Wooly shows up and dumps a fucking dump truck of rotten
of a bunch
meat.
of shit that you're like, I don't think I should use most of this.
Yeah, and everyone keeps dressing him up and trying to put shit on him. I'm like, stop dressing him up. I don't want that. No.
I'm in a weird place where like I have to buy completely new sets of gear when Big Page changes classes, because I can't figure out what is stuff I've legitimately found in the world, or what stuff that came back that was like wildly overpowered. And so I'm like, I'm just gonna buy a completely new set of fucking gear every single time.
Yeah,
I don't care.
No, I'm fine to just like sort through and sell all the extra junk and stuff. But in any case, I've kind of whittled down, I think, most of the main up until that transition point or so, and I'm kind of just picking at some of the dark spots on the map to see what's up, to see where it says like, okay, you can't go any further than here. Like Batal, it's like, fuck you. And I was like, what if I put a mask on? And he's like, fuck you. And I'm like, all right. Hard limit,
There's a quest that,
I get the feeling,
You can also just sneak into the country illegally.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's how I snuck into the capital to begin with. So,
yeah,
I don't know, and also the weird and interesting implications of having a item cloning shop are like, this can break the game in many intentional ways.
So DD1 had the forger, and DD2's forger works the same. It is one of the most interesting things at putting in RPG, because certain quests you can only get the good outcomes by tricking various people.
Right. I felt that, like looking at that, staring at that menu for a minute. I was like, hold on a second. What is able to be out? Just about anything.
Anything.
And there's a cost associated. So if you want to, fuck with the outcome of some quests, or in some cases just like, keep my fucking, I want that jail key, actually. I think I'm going to hold on to that.
Yeah, the keeping the real jail key is like a really good example of what it would do. There's a couple of quests where there's two different quest givers that give you something really, really good, but they both want all of the same item. They both want 5 identical items. And so I was like, well, the correct solution here, obviously, is to make a bunch of fakes and give each of them half real and half fake items. And it worked. And it totally worked, because they didn't check.
Okay. Because I like I'm getting me a jadeite orb copied, and I'll see what's gonna happen after that.
That's your little tutorial for the forger. That's like, hey man, what if you just gave them both the quest reward? Be awesome.
Now here's a question I just thought of.
Yeah.
Can you, for example, forge, I don't know, like a beggar's clothing?
Yeah, totally.
Would that work? No, because the quest changes as soon as you hand it over. Did you get the... Okay, so that...
I've seen 2 versions of that quest. I've seen the one where I give it back to him, and I've seen the version where I give it back to his wife in the rich quarter.
Oh, I did neither of those things.
Yeah, you gave it to the poor girl.
The poor girl.
Yeah.
I don't know what was your outcome there.
So the poor girl outcome is disastrous, right?
Okay, you know about that. Yeah.
I do, yeah.
It's really bad.
So the beggar quest in DD2 is the one that I showed off in my video, where you just have to watch this guy for like 40 minutes.
Yes.
And just trail him all over town. So you get his clothes. If you run up to him and just give him the clothes, he's like, fuck, here's $5,000. Get out of my face.
Okay.
And that's the end of that, right? If you give it to his poor girlfriend at the bar.
Yeah. The Beastman. She goes, what? No, but we were supposed to run away together. Thank you for this. And then runs off. And then the next morning, a guard is like, yo, do you know what happened in here? Because it's a mess. There's blood everywhere. And it seems like dude got murdered and then murder-suicide because the Beast Girl kills herself too.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. It's a bloody mess in there. That's crazy. If you know what happened, tell me. And you're just like, oh, Jesus Christ.
So if you give it to his rich wife, she she's like, what? That sounds like bullshit. But I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just nag him about a bunch of shit he's supposed to do around the house, and I'm gonna just leave these clothes out where he can see them, and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
And then you come back a couple days, and she's like, yep, he's doing all his chores just like he's supposed to.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. And then she gives you 3 of those rare gems, which sell for like 7,500. So that's technically the best
optimal outcome. Jesus, because it's like, okay, it only shows you the 2 destinations, like her or the mistress.
Yeah.
But you're like, well, fuck that guy, and fuck the rich wife's like 2-line attitude that you get while wandering up right off the bat. This poor lady, right? Let's go help her out. And then that just goes horribly wrong. So it's like, okay, got it. So I was just like,
there's a lot of quests that like they end and you're like, I genuinely don't know if that's like the best outcome I could have gotten. I have no idea.
Well, so it certainly seems like the most content outcome. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in KOTOR, some outcomes are like everything, all's well that ends well, or the evil one. But then there's the like, oh, there's the outcome that has a whole epilogue of fucking sadness to it, where it's like, whoa, but that's the one that was written out.
There's a quest I would have got that you can get for your Gregor's dead, right?
Oh, wait.
Is the guy who brings you to the capital?
Yeah, he got washed.
Okay, so Gregor, some dude in the city watch is like, bro, I want to fuck Gregor's wife really bad, but he's always around. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna send him to fight a Dullahan, the headless horseman, right? And you overhear this, and you go tell the wife, like, hey, yo, that guy's trying to fuck you, and you send off your husband to fucking die. She's like, no, you gotta fight. You go, oh no. So you go across the map to fight the Dullahan, right? And Gregor's there. Is like, we got this guy. And then the Dullahan just kicked his ass into the fucking water, and he died instantly. And because he was in the water, I couldn't resurrect him.
Oh.
So then I had to go back to the wife and tell the wife, like, hey, sorry, your husband's dead.
Wait. But doesn't his body wind up in the morgue?
And then she goes and becomes a nun. And I'm like, And then when I was in the morgue trying to resurrect a character for a different quest, I see Gregor's body's right there.
Yeah.
But if I resurrect him now, she's not gonna de-nun.
Okay.
So
okay.
Fuck it. I'm not wasting a wake stone on that.
Yeah. Okay. So I had that similar example. I had the shadowy person is following you, right? Who could it be? And it's like, there's that fucker, and I tackled him, and then the game's like, you got me. And then it's like, do you want to pay him off, or you want to get paid off, or you want to fight? And so I was like, fuck this guy, right? So, So we fight. And then in 0.4 seconds, my team and I murder him dead. Right? And it's like, and then the quest just stays active. And it's like, what the fuck just happened? I just killed him. Why? What's going on? Reload, nothing. And it's like, I don't understand. So I'm like, okay, fuck this. And I look it up, and it's like, you're supposed to fight him slow enough that you get interrupted by Brant. And he goes, hey, we'll stop it. We'll take it from here. And then they go interrogate him.
And then he goes to jail, and you can,
But we killed him so hard, so fast that never happened. So then I had to waste a Wakestone on him.
There's a quest that Susie talked about in her review where a guy's like, hey, man, I need to make a piece of, or I need to make a sculpture of a griffin or paint a griffin. I forget what it is. So you need to fight a griffin, and so I can really get a good look at it in my mind's eye. And Susie describes that she like damn near one-shotted the fucking thing, like iced it in like 10 seconds. And he's like, well, I didn't get to look at it for shit. So this sculpture's gonna be really bad.
That's pretty good. Yeah. No, there's definitely some fun moments like that. I'm still properly annoyed by, I just turned a corner and like Wooly the Pawn is disappeared. Just, I don't know if you fell into the brine but it's like, it wasn't about brine. It wasn't about falling off a ledge and I can go pick you up. You just despawned from the world.
Well, I mean,
and so
now you know what it's like to navigate with you, buddy.
And so I turn and it's gone, and I'm like, okay, let me wander back to town to go to the nearest Riftstone to get him back. And then I wander back into town, and that's when a story event dragon attack is occurring.
Oh, I know the exact one you're talking
I'm
about.
like, motherfucker, damn it. So I'm like, it probably would have been important to have you be here for this experience, but I guess that's done. Did
you talk to the spearman before he left?
I had an archer lady that hung out, and I talked to her.
Wait, what town are you talking about?
Melv?
Yeah, Melv. Okay, so Ulrika is fighting the dragon there, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's also a mystic spearman, like a magic spearman, like Darth Maul dude doing flips on the dragon.
Oh, I didn't talk to anybody like that. I was.
Okay, because if you talk to him there, he'll just give you Mystic Spearman.
Oh, sick. Okay, yeah, I missed that entirely.
But now that you've done that, he has now moved to his house. He lives in Harv.
Okay.
So you can just go get that.
I mean, there's infinitely missable things that happen in infinitely missable moments. The way things are set up here. I had maxed out mage, so I switched over to archer, and was just hitting sweet spots. And messing around with that for now. So I didn't get too close at any point. But yeah, no. It's just these jank moments that occur that are just like, that is not like, I did nothing wrong here, That is that the game just decided.
It's a mix between, oh, it's cool that it's like this, and then 5 seconds later, but why is it like this though? So like one of the ones that I found that's really funny. So the final one of the final sorcerer skills is called Maelstrom. It's the gigantic tornado. And one of the things that I'm baffled by is, why does the sorcerer love to target goblins or wolves right next to the ox cart with the most destructive spell in the game?
And this is where I've learned, the moment you get interrupted, jump off the cart, run a mile down the road, and bait everything away, and then start fighting. Because it, like, literally, I start doing fucking lightning, and like, it feels like the character and camera just turn towards the ox cart and start
this
zapping
ox cart's gotta go. I don't care for it.
Like, I'm in the middle of zapping multiple enemies, and it's smartly targeting, and then just turns around to the ox cart, and fuck, man. It sucks, yeah.
It's weird.
That was very annoying.
Love that game.
Yeah.
It's so great. It's so awful.
Also, like, just running into, again, just gonna fuck your shit up dragon on the mini map, where it's like, I'm still not ready for this. That you are just making me run a mile the other way and circle around an insane berth to get to this stupid fishing village.
The Drakes go from completely unwinnable to barely winnable to, yeah, I got this. Like that's the 3 states. Like it's not a gradient. It's 3 states.
I came across a spot where I was like, ooh, I got the jump on one of these because you walk out and there's a ballista pointed at it. You know?
Yeah, that was a rough fight for me because the ballista hit it in the head instead of the chest.
So I aimed for whatever. I aimed for the head. I thought that was the move. And I got some damage in, and then I kept using it while the fight, happened. And then it got up close and broke the ballista. And then it turned into a slobber knocker. And like every other Drake fight, it's me running away, hightailing it while that fucking thing is on my ass.
Like a huge proportion of the Drake fight is, do you have a move that can hit the good weak point like 100 times in a second?
Well, archers are ready for that.
I don't know if you've seen Helm Splitter or Skull Splitter on Thief. It's that spin move.
Yeah. The spin attack.
That thing, the warrior move where it called Skyward Sunder, where they do a huge slash straight up. The Maelstrom from Sorcerer, anything that just has a vertical pillar of attack.
I imagine the machine gun from the archer would be pretty good.
You would think, but not really.
On the shitty one that attacked the town, it was good because it has it's glowing "Don't hit me here" spots.
I actually found it weirdly successful with warrior to just do the Skyward Sunder move over and over and over because it does so much knockback that what eventually happens is you do that and it just falls down. And once they fall down, I got really lucky on the last one, and the sorcerer cast Maelstrom on it, and it did 50% of its total health bar because the Maelstrom was directly inside its hitbox.
Okay.
And the monster had fallen over and couldn't move.
Okay, and you get the extra crit damage there too. Yeah. It's interesting. I'm having a very unique experience with this because I'm going about it picking non-melee classes first, just to see.
That is a weird experience.
It is, but it's telling me more about how these systems that are not the obvious ones work,
after Archer, are you going to switch to Sorcerer, or are you going to...
I did Sorcerer for a little bit and I didn't like it.
Oh, that's right, you did.
Yeah. So after that, I'm gonna go to something else. I'll see, but because it is in this almost like Souls, right? It's well, yes, melee is here, and we know all these weapon moves and stuff. But when you go into the non-melee, you go into magic or archer or other types of builds, it's like you're on the edges of what the game's intending for you here. So how well does this work? I'm curious to see, and
it's extremely different.
Yeah
using magic in that game.
Magic is you're just playing a RTS almost, you're standing back and governing the fight.
Well, no, Trickster is playing an RTS because Trickster doesn't have any attacks.
Oh, okay.
Trickster is a 100% dedicated illusionist class that has no attacks.
So you're just supporting the team?
You are basically creating aggro dummies that force enemies to attack the aggro dummy instead.
Okay.
You're creating walls that your pawns and you can move through, but enemies can't.
Interesting.
That kind of thing.
But yeah, but the feeling so far has been get to the high ground or get as far away from the action as possible and just,
and zap them.
And arching is it was that at first, but then find some weak spots, snipe if you can. But then once you get the ability to use an arrow while on something's back, then it's oh shit, okay, we have a reason to get up close.
I'm just gonna cut it. I'm just gonna stab it with my fucking arrow. I'm gonna do it.
And you get the Hawkeye jump, kick, backflip. Which feels
great.
Yeah, it'd feel better if you could do a special arrow when you flipped backwards. But the fact that you can't is a little bit bummer. But yeah, still, it is interesting. And so I feel like using those are teaching me a bit more about how the game design is set up than just the oh yeah, if you swing your sword up close and climb on something, obviously that's going to feel like what it feels like,
Yeah.
It's the non-melee stuff is going to be it's you can't compare how is set up to any other game that is similar. The fact that you cannot.
No, it's pretty much completely unique.
The fact that there's no lock on except for the one it provides you with, and you have to learn how to like work a soft lock as part of the combat is weird, and I've gotten used to it at this point, but you're still, a lot of your combat is hoping that you're pointing at the right thing, you know, and
like Archer is like the most straightforward class out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because it works pretty much exactly how you would expect to work. There's aim the arrow, shoot the arrow, or
auto
free shot the arrow.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
Archer has like a weird downside in that pawns are better at being an archer than you are.
They're gonna hit the spots.
Well, they always free aim it, but they free aim it fast.
Okay.
So they're like, you know, if you've had an archer pawn, you'll end up in situations where you'll kill a goblin and they'll have 4 arrows sticking out of their eyes. Jesus, because your archer pawn was just like lighting them up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, I'm you know, continuing to poke, and again, letting the crashes determine when I stop playing.
How much have you been playing Helldivers? I'm curious.
I got my jetpack, so I'm at least level 15.
Oh, hell yeah, man. You've almost caught up to where I'm at. I only hit level 20 like over the weekend.
Yeah. No, I wanted to get the autocannon and the jetpack, so was doing that. And
autocannon just feels so goddamn good.
Feels good. You know, you gotta sacrifice your back slot, but it does feel good. And then yeah, and I guess I was just trying to look for like cosmetics that seemed dope. You know, I'm like looking through the stuff.
There's a bunch of good shit coming out this Thursday.
Okay.
With the what's it called? Democratic Detonation War Bond.
Okay.
So one of those war bonds is going to come out every second Thursday of the month.
An extra battle pass?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Every second Thursday of the month that will come out until specified otherwise.
I mean, admittedly, I still haven't unlocked any of them. I'm still on just the main one.
See, that's fine because they're forever.
Okay, yeah. No,
like they're forever.
I'm just kind of like, I'm just picking at like, if there's something I see that I want, you know, I'm just gonna be like,
I've got
work towards that specifically.
I bought up to 1,000 super credits, so I could, but I don't know which one I want. And I think it's the one that comes out on Thursday.
And yeah, I'm also like okay, I can see how now, like at first I was like, I don't get why people aren't marking objectives on the map that they're going towards and stuff. Like, isn't this just the thing we should all be doing? But it's like, oh no, everyone's clearing everything and just running.
Yeah, so and certain difficulties just work differently. Like what difficulty are you mainly playing at right now? Mainly
challenging.
Yeah, same here. It's the first one where you get the medium samples, right?
I guess so. It's the one after medium, right? Like
yeah. I mainly play medium challenging and the one above. I don't feel confident enough to go into like Suicide or Helldiver.
I did one solo on hard and just ate it, and I was like, okay, yeah, I don't have the equipment to handle this right now even.
So like in those difficulties, like yeah, you load in and people just tend to split up in either pairs or just like the fan out and be like, we're gonna just turn enemy generation off on this map.
Right.
At the higher one though, I played a suicide mission for funsies, and landed in a base that had 2 tanks and like the turrets on the side and like 100 enemies.
Yeah.
And like it was go from second 1.
Yeah. The take out the bosses missions are probably the most fun I find. I like those. But I
also did a suicide a bug mission, and the bot breach has bile titans coming out of the ground.
Oh, okay.
The bug breach has just bile titan right out.
What's pretty sick though is when I jumped on one of the harder missions and just like teamed up with somebody who's like whatever god level, and
Yeah.
and every time a bot drop is detected, they're just knocking the dropship out of the sky. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh yeah, that's not even an issue. That's
We're
sick.
just gonna, and yeah, maybe mop up the like 2 guys that didn't die in the crash.
That's pretty impressive. I want what he's having, whatever the fuck that is. I don't know if it's autocannon to the right spot or something better, but
So it's got to be better. It's got to be bigger than that. It's got to punch through heavy armor. So that's the EAT, the recoilless, or that new laser cannon they put in, the quasar cannon.
okay.
It has to be something that like just punches through heavy armor.
Also, there seems to be a way to summon orbital shit without throwing a whatchamacallit? Like, it seems like there's
Really?
like, maybe I'm just missing it, but like, is there an advanced way to get things to drop faster by just calling it in at a certain distance without a toss? Because I feel like sometimes I see people that I'm with that are higher level just walk up to a base and not toss a thing. I forgot what it's called. And then
The beacon.
The beacon, yeah. And then it maybe I'm missing it.
So are you talking about the laser? Because the laser comes in 1 second.
The laser is, yes, that's definitely what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
The laser comes in instantly.
Okay. You still have to toss a stratagem though.
Yeah, you always have to toss stratagem.
But as soon as you do, it comes. Okay. Yeah. Because it was like, how the fuck did that come so quickly? That was insane. Yeah.
The rail cannon's also like 2 seconds. Like they're super fucking fast. Because they're meant to be like, I need this shit to go away right now. Right now.
And as I'm looking too, I'm also seeing like there's a bunch of stratagems that people just never use, and I'm curious. I'm like, is like, for example, the mounted turret gun, is it just bad? I haven't seen anyone use that.
It's not that it's bad, it's that it's not losing the ability to move is rough compared to the damage output.
I've seen one mech in the wild. You know, people just don't use that at all either.
They're currently balancing, like every patch has like minor balance changes. This gets up, this gets down. Like the future weapons warbond or whatever it was called has like a stun grenade in it, which changed the balancing on some of the weapons, because like the recoilless rifle's a lot better and you don't need to worry as much about the reload when you can make a charger stop moving before shooting it in the face.
Right. Okay.
There's also like a pistol that fires grenades coming on Thursday. So you can swap your like, because like think about like all the machine guns, right? And how they're for fodder. Right?
Yeah.
Instead of like the autocannon, which is for heavy stuff.
Yeah.
But if you have a pistol that fires grenades, now you can move things around in your grenade slot and still close bug holes and stuff like that.
Is it using your grenade ammo?
No, it's a pistol.
It's using its own grenades.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Huh.
Yeah. Like there's a I forget what I think there's a gun called the Dominator, which is like not an assault rifle, like a battle rifle that fires like explosive rounds that punch through like medium armor. So it'll take out like the walkers, like the bot walkers. But it's a terrible primary. But it pairs really well with like the stalwart.
Okay. Have you memorized your
Fuck no.
stratagem inputs? Yeah.
No way. Absolutely not.
Yeah. Every time
there's only two that I've memorized.
Redeploy.
The fucking airstrike, which is up, right, down, right. And the laser, which is up, right, down, down, down.
Okay. Yeah, there was one that was down, down, down. That was like, oh yeah, that's simple. But for the most part, it's always stop, squint. Which one of these? Yeah. Okay.
That's oh, apparently I'm wrong. That's 500 kg, not the laser. Whoops.
Yeah.
Whatever. It'll blow up. It'll blow up good.
So I guess then there's likely going to be a third faction that'll show up as a big event at some point.
So how do we feel about talking about data mined content with Helldivers
we can
on this podcast?
We can give people a warning.
Okay, we're going to talk about data mined content in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So in Helldivers 1, there was a third faction called the Illuminate, which are briefly mentioned in Helldivers 2 as on some of the news tickers. They're like, Illuminate sightings are fake and treasonous. In terms of expectation, the expectation is they will show up at some point in Helldivers 2. The leaked further expectation is that they will show up at some point in the near future because a bunch of their models and animations are in the game right now.
Okay. So stuff is there.
Also, they've occasionally I don't know if it's Joel or somebody else, but if you look at the stat screens on certain planets, they have shown like Illuminate kills on them. And there are occasionally Helldivers playing on planets that are inaccessible.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I remember this from a couple weeks ago, actually. Yeah.
So the Illuminate would come in from one of the southern quadrants. The most interesting thing is that there's enough room on that map for 4.
That's exactly why, because I'm looking at the map and I can see that you have left, right, and then a whole lot of space for other things to be going on.
So in Helldivers 1, it was very clear there was room for 3.
Mm-hmm.
Here, there's probably eventually going to be a 4th one. But when that shows up, who knows? It was some people, me included, expected after the destruction of the bots over the weekend that the Illuminate would come in today, honestly. But instead, the bots are back with a vengeance. So we'll see.
Who could have possibly seen that coming?
Well, they could have stayed dead for a while and been replaced by the Illuminate.
Right.
Oh, that's a good one. A little late, but that's still good.
There you go. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so it's gonna yeah. It does.
It'll probably be like the 6 month mark, maybe, or some kind of milestone.
And I guess also, I mean, coming in from the outside, not really, coming in from the outside and kind of getting a feel for like what the actual scope of the game is now. It's like, oh, this is a lot smaller of a game than I thought it was.
Yeah, but the live campaign map makes it feel huge.
Yes, but when it comes down to it, you've got, a couple mission bug types, couple mission these types, and yeah, you're looking at a map that is promising more with all the planets inside, all the sections, and then the big super Earth factual thing.
The most impressive thing by far is, and hey, if you worked on Helldivers or are currently working on Helldivers, please reach out to Pat at Pat Stares At on Twitter in my DMs. It makes me wonder how much of this game was completely finished and is being rolled out. Because there have been like a bunch of new guns just given away, and like problem solving guns. Like, you remember everyone was complaining about chargers having too much armor and there's too many chargers. Well, here comes the Quasar laser cannon. It's a direct counter to too many chargers. Now we have flying bugs, and there's a anti-air rocket launcher set to drop in a week or two. Like it's a burst. It does like an air burst.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
In Helldivers 1, what was the third faction like?
The Illuminate? They're not the Protoss.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. All right.
They're not the Protoss. Is what they are.
Fair enough. We're shooting Zergs already, so.
Yeah.
Cool.
Blue lasers, blue people, floating psionics, shields,
melee.
Yeah. The one of the data mined enemies they brought out are like kind of like a zombie freak alien monster, which is definitely new. But yeah, no, It's probably going to be focused on like tons of weird high power enemies.
Okay.
They also reversed controls and gave you hallucinations.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's good.
All right. Anything else of note this week?
Oh, not really. There's a lot of good games out right now. If you want to see me play more good games, go down to twitch.tv/PatStaresAt. Probably going to finish Infinite Wealth this week.
Okay. And tomorrow? In fact, yeah, we're jumping back in on Helldivers, and Reggie's going to get in there. So.
Oh, thank God. Oh.
So we can.
Oh. So he's going to be on what the computer you're at right now? Yeah, perfect. This one. Fucking great. So that's going to be me, Wooly, Reggie, and Paige. The full four.
And just as a potential backup, crossplay was a thing, right?
Yes.
Right.
But adding people to your friends list on that is a fuck. It can be really finicky.
Okay. Well, I'll have a backup so that the PS5 can join if needed.
If absolute need be. But that is a last resort because it's iffy.
Yeah. It would be. I mean,
like even adding people through the game's own menu in Steam is way worse than just doing the Steam invite shit.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It would be better for microphone purposes, but we'll see what we get from this. Yeah, so that's going down tomorrow
at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern.
4 p.m. Eastern.
That's what I just said that.
Not 3. Okay.
I said.
Yeah. All right. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Oh, I'm
my usual starting time for streams is 3 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
So, but we can bump it up an hour.
Well, it's too late now because I
was going to say you have hired a human being has been hired.
An hour difference. I guess that won't make much.
That is quite fine. No big deal. Okay. Meanwhile,
before we go, has Reggie played any on his own?
No.
Oh, fucking sick. That's not sarcastic, by the way. That's perfect. Because you and Paige have played a bunch, so we need somebody brand new in there.
I mean, last time was the first time. So.
Oh man, awesome.
Yeah, and as much as I've had this point come up many a time, but Reggie is very much like another me in that he's had a very similar kind of upbringing. He has a very similar kind of history, and he also
an eclectic history. You mean?
He is similar in that grew up like me in the city, not really, for example, needing to drive because you can just kind of walk everywhere. Has a similar kind of tournament history thing of mainly just focused on fighting games, and that's pretty much all that he was really playing. So didn't get into games in general, a lot of other genres, all the stuff that we've been looking at and covering over the years, all the no, he just played fighting games and a lot of narrow media as well. So a lot of stuff that he hasn't experienced. So
honestly, all three of you are kind of like that. Paige has an almost similar background to that, where she just missed out on video games for like a 5-10 year period. Still loved them, but just didn't have availability to them, and so there's just massive blind spots.
So a lot of my friends are like that too. There's a ton of people I know that are like us in this way. It's just when I come here and sit in front of a thing and I hit a button, you and everyone here has a different way of going through things, and yeah, I'm made to feel like such a weird outsider here, and I've learned over the years.
That's very strange.
I've learned over the years to navigate this, but the moment this is all off, there's a whole lot more people like me that I know. It's not
there are dozens of you.
Very much so. So yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily normies, because it's people that like play games and watch anime and watch movies and do stuff, but it's just not the ones
that's different. Like the comparison to it's like no,
it's not.
Normie is the guy that I used to know at the grocery store who's like, bro, I'm taking time off work. Oh, cool. Do you play anything else? Why would I play anything else, bro? There's Madden.
Discord just blew up. Sorry, what'd you say?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, the audio people. Sorry, the audio people. You're the audio people. The MP3 people will get
Madden,
that.
was it?
The guy that I used to know who went, yo, Madden's coming out. Oh, it's crazy. You can take days off work and call in sick.
Okay.
And I'd be like, hey, man, what? Oh, cool. I didn't know you even play games. What else do you play? He's like, Madden.
Yeah. No, or my cousin who like played with Nintendo with us as a kid and was like, oh, I remember Street Fighter, and then was like, yo, I'm hearing good things about this Assassin's Creed thing. Is it any good?
Yeah.
You know? And like thinking about getting a console type of thing, you know, like it's definitely not that. It's people I know that I've worked with, that I went to college with.
I played the games that I liked to play, and I didn't really need to explore because I was busy, and the games that I liked to play were there.
And I stuck to the genres that were the things that I was interested in, that I knew other people that played in those genres, and things that like would hit and come and go that were other genres, or kind of just like industry following as a whole was not at all a thing. That's what it is. You guys, right, were industry followers. And like back with the old, Matt, Liam, you guys were following the companies, following the updates, following all that stuff. And I was working in that industry while not keeping up to date on those things.
That was a strange disconnect.
I just had the things I cared about, and I was content to look at those things in front of me. So,
yo, you hear about that new thing at Eidos? You're like, what? No. I'm like, well, you work at Eidos.
So, so like, yeah, like that. There's there's a very particular flavor of like audience member that I've come to know about, and it's like everyone here who's listening to this who's like, I want to know what's happening in the industry as a whole, and when I hear a company name, I've probably heard, or I can think of what they've done before, or if I think of a franchise, I can think of the company behind it, or if I think of an anime studio, or I can think of the works and like that is like not at all most people I know, and most people I know are like, I'm really, I know a whole bunch of people that are like, yo, I'm super, they love JoJo. They loved like Madoka, got into some Yu-Gi-Oh, and probably, I don't know, some other particular thing, you know, probably some FF14 and yeah, some random manga or something like that from back in the day. But like, it'll just be that little niche, you know, it'll be all of that, and then like X-Japan, you know, so anyways, the long and the short of it is that Reggie kind of is coming in from that, where he's like not keeping up with a ton of things and doesn't have a ton of that experience. So there's a whole lot that's new. Most experiences are new to him too.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Please don't drop artillery in my ass. That's my please. It's not even an ask. That's just a please.
I can say overall with this experiment of expanding my tastes and horizons that in most cases I can, even when it doesn't click, I can get it, you know?
I think... Sorry, I just jumped in. I didn't even finish my own thought.
Okay. I like, for example, the biggest the biggest distance of Venn diagram I have with everyone listening to this right now is probably survival horror. And like having now done and gotten to what I think is the strongest, craziest moment is the letter in Silent Hill 2. That was unbelievable. That to me is like, I understand, and I could have totally become someone obsessed with this if I played that when I was young enough.
Yeah, there's a couple of those. There's that, and then there's like playing RE1 in 96 specifically. When you're like, this is the most, like, it looked like 10 years ahead of everything else. It was crazy.
But I am not chasing that Silent Hill 2 letter experience anywhere else.
Oh, you're not a letter chaser?
I'm not looking for that in any other game. And, like, I can get pulled into that experience sideways. Like Signalis is going to pull me in on its art style first, and its like own tone and music and aesthetics second, and then I'll find out that, oh, this is a send up to survival horror. But it got me on the first two things before I even knew what genre it was.
No, that required no foreknowledge. Signalis is immaculate.
And so I'm not going to be chasing that in the same way that I might chase something that was formative to me, you know. But I can appreciate, like, yeah, I'm like, okay, I get that. There's a whole bunch of, and so anything that's gonna like land, not even shy, because there's some good survival horror that like doesn't hit that level. Anything that hits like, oh, this is mostly a bad experience, but there's some cool moments in here, is getting into the like, I don't know if this is worth it for me. I'm not gonna probably appreciate what's good here because it's not as special when it hits its highs.
So that's a really good segue into the thought I tried to formulate earlier but totally failed. I've been trying to like expand out to genres that I've ignored, blah blah blah, for like a couple of years now, and I still think the all-time like most eye-opening experience was spending like 2 or 3 weeks being like, I'm gonna see what this League of Legends is about. Because like I saw the high and I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. And then I saw the low and I just came off it going like, I feel confident making judgments about people who play this game as like a primary thing. Like I feel confident like being able to spot the personality defect that allows you to go, yeah, I'm gonna queue into League of Legends when I get home.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, yes, I have that same thing with some of these genres we're describing, admittedly in a more optimistic way. But there are some dark corners I am just not gonna follow because
I would like, for your own like mental knowledge of the human condition, I would recommend everyone play 1 week of League of Legends, because seeing the low on League of Legends, it is so low and it's so fast. Like it's right away. And just the idea that people are like, yes, I will have a 45-minute miserable experience for once a day. Every day.
MOBAs in my head are what that name attaches to in experience is 5 games of HOTS and Guilty Gear Overture.
You know what, man?
Like that's all it is to me.
And I'll say, like, HOTS is not as good of a game as League is, and probably not as good as Dota, but I haven't played Dota much. But HOTS did not, the way HOTS is built did not specifically activate every attack neuron in my brain while playing. Right?
Okay.
Like, HOTS does not accidentally create a violence-inducing Skinner box quite as effectively as League does.
I can say though that like, as any game within that genre does have a chance with me, because they're all primarily character driven and character design driven.
Yeah.
Any game that is character driven is going to have a chance at being like, yo, look at this model, look at this art, look at this design. Isn't that someone that you think is rad? Don't you want to play as that character no matter what the genre is? And the answer might be yeah. You know, it might be. But no, anyway, all this to say, there's some roads I'm just not going to follow you guys down in, and you're just going to have to respect that. I can see from a distance how it's going to go. Would I care if I played like game like a Binary Domain? I don't know, but the interest isn't super high.
You know what
but
the
it
worst
might.
part of Binary Domain is? It's that you are all like, the really good parts of Binary Domain are like you finally have the wider like experience that I can actually take it and talk to you about, grab this and this, right? So take the storytelling of the Like a Dragon developers and put it in a Helldivers bot mission with no stratagems.
Yeah.
Because that, like, the main thing about Binary Domain is that it feels really good to shoot the robots.
Right.
And it's those two, and they kiss.
Yeah, like I said, with that, it's a maybe, but like from it would have been higher up on the list if it grabbed me any harder, certainly. But there's some stuff, but there's like Deadly Premonition, which a lot of people would love for me to go into.
Great experience. Amazing experience.
I
top shelf video game.
I couldn't be less interested. I just and you can try to force it.
That's part of the problem, right?
You could try to force it, but I'm just being real with you.
If you look like at a busted piece of shit and go, ooh, that looks dumb. Ooh, that's one thing, right? But if you look at a busted piece of shit and go, why?
Well, look, if honestly, if I was a fraud, I would plop it in and be like, oh yeah, while being like, I don't fucking. I would just you know what I mean? I would just bullshit it through, and but I'm not gonna sit there and bullshit my way through it. I'm just like, no, it doesn't. It's not for me. It's gonna have to sit there.
It's a really good example of a game that I did a sponsored thing of, which is Starfield. And I played like, God, I can look it up right now how many hours of Starfield I played. I played 41.3 hours of Starfield. So way more than my 2-hour sponsorship. I played it for 38 more hours after that. Then Starfield came out of the release cycle, right? And I saw a couple people talking about Starfield a couple weeks ago, and they were like, do you remember things in Starfield? And I don't.
Ooh.
I played that game for 41 hours.
That was
and
not
I
that
can
long
remember
ago.
like 4 things.
That was not that long ago.
It wasn't.
Man.
And like that seems to be a very common experience, in that it's just so dead ass in the middle, 5 out of 10 on so many respects, that it just leaves. Because you're not forming strong enough memories.
Yeah. I mean, I remember,
for good or ill.
Yeah, I remember that's what I was trying to find out about, and like with that, just kind of like, I think it was just that vibe is just not enough for me. Certainly.
Somebody in the chat asks an interesting question: how much of Skyrim do I remember from 2011? Tons. I could draw you a map of that shit right now. I could describe that after you get the fucking the Red Guard quest to fucking save that lady in the bar in Whiterun, and you go west and you have to go around the giants and the woolly mammoths, and then you go into the cave, and then they explain to you that actually when you go back that she's actually a fugitive from the law, and then when you get out to the front of the cart, he hits her with a fucking green freeze spell, and her model just tips over, and it looks hilarious. Like I could tell you all sorts of shit about fucking Skyrim like that, super easy, or New Vegas, or Fallout 3, or Fallout 4 even. But I could tell you like a total of like 10 minutes of shit about Starfield right now.
Do you have any genres that are or similar things like what I was describing, where you looking at it, you're just like, this just won't be for me, and it's not because of goblins,
but almost anything to do with management. Almost anything to do with management in a way that I don't have direct control, or even pseudo direct control. So I look at The Sims. I look at The Sims is like a really good example, or Soccer Manager, or anything like that. And I'm just like, or like a city builder.
But not like Cabaret Club, right?
No, Cabaret Club is different for one specific reason, is that you're managing it in real time. So it's like you're chasing that shit around, right? But if it was like set it up and see if it works and leave it alone and have it automate, and I was like, I don't know. I need to have a direct, even if it's just my mouse cursor, right? I need to have a direct impact
on the world,
on the thing.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm in control.
Too much of an Excel sheet.
Yeah, I don't know how to use Excel. I don't want to use Excel. I want to like it's been like a long story every time like people listen to like the podcast or like my stream or the old YouTube videos for long enough. They'll hear me go, they'll see me move a character around and go, no.
Right, okay.
Bad game. Did Pat play Satisfactory? Oh yeah, I love Satisfactory. Satisfactory is great. And I don't know if you're familiar with that. I talked about it a million years ago.
Yeah, no, I remember, yeah.
But the main thing about Satisfactory is like, man, I bet that game would be a lot faster if you built that shit from a top-down view. And then I wouldn't like it. But actually having to build your conveyor belts and organize your shit from the ground as a playable character, that's a lot more interesting.
Yeah, I feel like games like that can stand a chance with me, but they need to use all the like neuron firing like tricks, all the little hooks, and
Satisfactory's got you build the conveyor belt and the system was like you just watch it go without you, and you're like, that's some good chemicals right there.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm having a chemical right now.
I appreciate setting shit up like that. I mean, I used to spend time playing The Incredible Machine back in the day, which is just creating a Rube Goldberg machine, a fucking mousetrap thing, and trial and error until you get the thing into the goal.
You know what? I have to say, there's like so it's not genre, but like I'll have people recommend games to me, and an unappealing art style just kills it. Like, it doesn't matter how good the game is. It could be the best game I've ever heard of in my whole life. And I don't mean technically competent art style, and I don't mean high-end art style or realistic art style.
Bold and
I mean just
clear direction, but just not for you.
Yeah, so like I'm like asking people for advice on like phone games to get, because I'm gonna have a new phone, and I get like 45 different people go, what about Arknights? And I'm like, okay, I'll try a tower defense game. That's fine. And I go look at Arknights, and like, I will never, ever play Arknights until the day I die, because the whole time I'd be playing Arknights, I'd be like, ugh, gross.
Yeah,
I don't wanna, right? And it's the argument that you and I had like once a year for like 10 years, where I'm like, why do these fucking robot games have to make all the crossover robot games have to make everything fucking SD? Yep. They look terrible.
And I had that same argument with Josh as well as I was getting into it.
Basically just having the argument with Josh through you.
Yeah, I'm right there, because I'm like, I like these robots for their full proportions, but it still was cool when it would do more than that, which you could get by doing certain things in the game, but it was all contained to this tradition of SD.
So like somebody will be like, man, you got to check out this incredible indie RPG. It's fantastic. And it's like, it's technically more advanced than, it's like a PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 looking game. But it just looks very bland. And I'm like, I'd rather have like a fucking GBA looking game like Undertale over there. Like, it's not about the technical or even the polygons or whatever. But if I look at it and go, nah, it's dead to me right away.
Yeah.
And there's kind of no saving it.
I mean, I definitely have memories of that era where it was like, we took a thing that and we just replaced it with cute anime girls and made it play a bit worse than the thing. But that's all. And like, I still have that initial like, oh, okay. But if it actually is a fun thing after that, then you like, you go past that point and go like, no, fuck yeah. This is a fun game to play. But I'm just never gonna forget when fucking Arcana Heart, you know, was or Arturo was there trying to show us how good that game was, and it's like, no, you don't understand though, it's super sick. And it's like, yeah, the systems are pretty sick, but that was a moment, you know. And then of course from that era into Toho now being a strong push, and it's like, okay, but is this a fun game to play regardless of whatever's happening? Then you can get me, you know. I can move past that point. I have not even booted it, but I swear to God, right here on my phone, I have Nikkei.
Oh my God.
What the fuck is this thing? What's the full name of this thing?
Fucking
Goddess of Victory? Yeah, because I'm like, yo, ask app to not to track. Don't track me, please. Stop it. What? Stop. No, don't do that. Hey, don't fucking stop. Stop with all your questions. No. I have fucking Nikkei sitting right here, bro. Right? Oh. And it's like, regardless of ass jiggles and whatever nonsense, cover shoot into distance background thing. I'm like, does that feel good? Is it fun to shoot that way?
It feels good when the girl's ass starts flying around the screen when you shoot the gun.
I mean, it looked visually cool. Like it certainly looked pretty when it's like, oh, the enemies are in 3D and then the assets in front are in 2D, and you've blended the two in a way that looks like it works. How does this feel? And if the aiming and shooting and stuff that you do is fun, that might be cool. But for now, it certainly is just a bunch of jiggles going on.
Yeah.
And I downloaded it. I haven't booted it yet, but it's there, you know? I'm looking for I want to see if it's fun to play. Legit.
It's for me, it's like, and it's super weird because like Deadly Premonition looks like garbage. Like Deadly Premonition looks like garbage. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, it's garbage that's trying really hard and failing, and that's appealing to me.
Mm-hmm. You also have a ground to stand on with David Lynch.
Yeah, Lynch.
Twin Peaks, right?
Yeah, where it's like, oh man, you're trying so hard to rip this off, and you're doing such a bad job. Yeah, and it's fascinating.
I don't have that source material connection. At all. So. Anyway, it is, but it is interesting. It is interesting. I'll report back to see what the goon shooter is like.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I played Alan Wake. I played Deadly Premonition. I watched Twin Peaks, and I watched the X-Files. All of which are like, hey, it's spooky out in the Pacific Northwest. And now that I've lived in the Pacific Northwest for a little while, and I've we've done day trips and we've gone out to Vancouver Island and Tofino and stuff like that. And the forests around here are spooky as fuck at night.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like if you're out at dark in the Pacific Northwest and it's like getting dusky. Yeah, okay, I see it.
Gravity Falls is my entry into that genre.
Yeah, it's like I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And that just makes me think, what does Maine feel like at night? Because Maine is the other spooky location in United States.
I mean, is this getting close to Fargo energy? I don't know if no, that's a different thing. Okay. Well, in any case, threatening Middle America is that's a blind spot, but I'm I have some curiosity about it. Anyway, over on my side. So yes, tomorrow Helldivers 2 is going down. Over on my side, there was an announcement this week, followed by a demo for a game that is a sequel to a game I liked, from the creators of Fights in Tight Spaces comes Nights in Tight Spaces.
Oh, really? I didn't see this shit.
Yeah. So check it out. It's pretty cool. They have
that Knights like the nighttime or like a soldier man?
As in like the Knights and Dragons.
Okay, Knights in Tight Spaces.
Yes. So take a look at the trailer for that. There's a demo as well. It's color. It's up to the art style.
It's color instead of black and white.
Yes, it's color instead of black and white. There's some pretty cool texture work going on. Visually, it's very pretty. The music is awesome. And the main detail difference here is with a fantasy setting, you now control a party. You now have weapons. You now have magic. and you're still doing a card deck building, roguelite, Slay the Spire style adventure, but you have different classes, and you have to use your deck of cards that is shared between all the classes on the board in a fight. So you can use you'll draw a magic card, but you can only use it if you select the mage on that turn, or you'll draw an archery card, and you can only use it if you select your archer. But each of these things makes it so that what you draw you might not be able to use. So your balance of useful cards versus not useful cards is a little trickier, in exchange for you have multiple people on the board. And the way fights in tight spaces used to work, of course, was you played a spy. It was black and white, cool art style, and you kind of just moved around the grid and then did martial arts moves or weapon play to take out everyone. Here, you position yourself to do the same thing, but based on where your partners are standing on that grid, they do team attacks as well. If they're within range, they'll target the same thing you're targeting. So you have, multiple ways to kind of approach the strategy of every level. But it is a game sequel built around the pun. 100%. Yeah. It is. Oh, what a Discord joke. What if Knights in Tight Spaces, lol, and then we actually made it.
That's gonna get real frustrating for them if they want to continue down this sequel naming structure, because that's incredibly strict. It has to be IGHTS.
Flights in tight spaces. Planes that have to navigate around each other in the sky. Yeah. But no, it is pretty cool. The main thing, though, that you didn't like from last time has not been fixed, and I agree, is the replay after you finish the battle is not a smooth fight sequence. It is a turn-by-turn replay of what you just did.
God damn it. No, come in.
And there have been 2 games that have come out since that do a way cooler job of that replay. Obviously, Your Only Move is Hustle. Mm-hmm. and Phantom Brigade, right, where the action plays out like a full action sequence.
So it's the memory is coming back as to why I thought I was so outraged by that the first time around. I don't know if I even said it out loud last time, but because of the black and white art style with red that Fights in Tight Spaces uses, it reminded me a lot of Super Hot.
Oh yeah, true. Mm-hmm.
And Super Hot's massive gimmick is that they show you the perfect replay at the end of every mission, and so just do it. Do it.
So I think the thing is that it is showing you the quote unquote perfect replay. The problem is that it's a turn-based game, so it's taking its turns to play the enemy move, then your move, then the enemy move, then your move.
Okay.
And to make what you're describing, which would be cool, I agree. The game would have to be more like action into simultaneous pause, into simultaneous action, into simultaneous pause. A bit like playing FF7 Remake or any of the other 2 games I mentioned. And I love that. I wish more games did that, but this is stuck with the grid and the turn-based movement.
I just want to see what Sam from Vanquish looks like.
Sure.
When you're fighting against him.
Sure.
That's that you said that a million years ago, and it's stuck in my brain ever since. I'm like, whoa. It's all I want. I want to see what that looks like.
But that aside, though, without a massive redesign to this game, it's still pretty fun to do that whole layout.
Changing it to a party feels like enough.
Yeah, it's a big change. It's also reminiscent of Hybrid Haven for the N64 back in the day, where you stepped around on a grid, stepped into pile driver range, and then did a grab. So yeah, this thing, it's still pretty rough, of course. There's a story that's pretty nothing right now, but you as you go through your thing, you can you reject different party members, sign up with different party members. It seems like who you build and work your team towards is going to be pretty variable every time. and there's some UI stuff that could be cleaned up as well. So, but at the end of the demo, they give you like a survey to fill out. So I'm like, I gave them some advice.
Oh, well, that's
yeah.
If they're gonna give you a survey, then it's definitely in progress.
Yeah. It's an early demo with a survey. So I'm just like, here's I answered what I thought they should do and stuff. But I still really like that kind of game. I still had a lot of fun with it, and the ability to like plan moves out in that into the breach kind of way, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna grab you and then shove you to the side and slip past the enemy behind me, and then when I shove this guy to the side, my archer now gets a shot on him, and then the guy that I slip past, I can do a flash kick, and that'll knock him, and that'll take him out, and then I'll move back a space and land.
Yeah, this does sound a lot like Into the Breach.
Yeah,
like a lot.
I want to optimize where I position the enemy and where I end up on each turn. And I love that. And if I can knock you into the point where the next enemy is going to drop on, then great, I'll block that for a turn. Again, very much like Into the Breach. I love that kind of gameplay. It's super fun. Baba, Mobile Suit Baba as well, which was
still weird.
So cool. It's a fun ass genre, man. So yeah, Nights in Tight Spaces was cool. Check that out. Early. I also spent a little bit of time with Rise of the Ronin. And
is that game good? I can't tell.
So far it's cool, but I need to go a little further to get to the unique parts of it, because the first couple hours of that I did in session 1 are all like stuff that is also in other Team Ninja games right now.
Right.
So there hasn't been any of the most unique stuff you see in the trailers is the fucking Assassin's Creed Michelangelo flight hang gliding and then grapple hooking onto things, and all that weird tech and stuff. And here I've gotten a little bit of grapple hooking. That's a bit, you have it from the jump and stuff, but for the most part, it does seem until you have all the other stuff you unlock, like it's pretty close to Neo Wolong and the other stuff they've been doing. The open world is an element that is fairly different. And something that's cool too is like you create a second main character that is like part of your story. Yeah. So you create a character moment in the beginning, like your origin story is that like there's twin warriors, twin blades, and you have to create both of them, and then shit happens, and you play out parts of the story with your own design, so that's interesting. Almost like, I guess, how even though I haven't seen them yet, in Baldur's Gate you created a second person as well. But for the beginning of this game, until it gets to the more unique stuff, it feels similar to the other stuff they've done, and that other stuff they've done was great, so it's fine.
I have a question, and the answer to this question will determine whether or not I ever play Rise of the Ronin or look upon it from a distance with scorn in my heart. What's the loot vomit situation?
It is not like Neo. There is loot, but it is not the same where you're walking through 5 to 10 sets of armor in one mission and then choosing which one and switching it up constantly. It is so far in the beginning that I've played session, I've gotten 2 maybe options of what to put on, maybe 3. And
is it the kind of game that on PC you would be looking for a loot filter add-on?
I don't know, but I can say that it felt like I got a lot less loot than I did in Neo. But I've only played the beginning, and people are currently saying it's exactly like Neo. So anyone who's played it more probably has a better idea.
Oh, it's the same system, but the amount seems to be way less.
The amount is definitely, it feels to me way less. I pointed it out by the end of the session that I was like, oh, I'm only picking between like I picked up like one of, not each kind of weapon, but like I picked up like maybe like 4 weapons in total by the end of that.
Oh, Susie says it's exactly like Neo.
Is it? Okay. All right. Then I'll trust people who've played more of it then. I do know that in Neo, like I said, you get a whole lot of it, and then managing the loot, managing the armor, and how the abilities interact with each other and stuff is a huge part of it. And yeah, I didn't mind it, but it is, you can spend a whole fucking long time getting your shit optimized.
I feel like I'll never ever like have a meeting of the minds with people on this, because like when I was playing Neo 2, I was told, "Oh man, just use the loot filter and just don't even look at anything above a certain thing." And I just go, "Well, then why is it dropping?" And they're like, "See, because if you want to." And it's like, I feel like if you're making your game and the game is anything other than a Diablo game or Path of Exile game or Lost, what's it called? The Last Epoch game.
Okay.
Whatever, Diablo shit. And you're having so much loot vomit that you need to include a developer loot filter because there's so much trash to work through, you may have gone too far.
Wait, though, hold on. Actually, there's something I can objectively say is not like Neo that makes a big difference here. When I played Neo, one of the first things that happened was you see the red graves, of other player characters, and they're stronger than you, and you can summon and fight them, and if you beat them, they drop some good shit, right?
Yeah.
And that was a cool challenge that you can ignore while you're getting used to the game, but I wanted to stop and fight the challenging thing right away. So I fought a bunch of those ghosts immediately.
Yeah.
In doing so and succeeding, I then immediately got 20 different things right off the bat.
So much.
And I got some really good shit right away, and this was all like mission 1 area, like right off the bat. This game doesn't have those little online ghosts to fight to lead to that much loot, so you're automatically not getting as much versus if you're dealing with the online system and the enemies and their drops as well. So that is for sure different. The fact that you have online loot coming in as well as the game's regular amount in Neo made it excessive by comparison.
I don't know, man. It's just like I think back to like, for whatever reason in Neo, it was like paralytic. And I see people talking about like Borderlands of Diablo, in which I had absolutely no problem at all.
Yeah. So I think of the Transformers Platinum game. And the crazy amount of needless loot in that, where it was like an element.
Thing didn't need anything.
None. I don't care about a blaster with +2 damage, but you're giving me 18 of them. That was crazy. That was ridiculous. Also, even just discovering that different areas in Dragon's Dogma 2 will give you different styles of upgrades.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, okay. But I'm also now just like, I'm not going to go min-max that. I will do what I can afford in the area I'm at. I don't need to go to this town to get this particular thing. That's more back and forth than I'm willing to do.
I think I've had this conversation like 10 times, and I think the way that I always come down to the end of it is like the loot vomit is the secondary problem, because there's Diablo, there's Borderlands or what have you, right? The actual problem is the stupid amount of variability and granularity on any particular piece of gear, where it has like 6 additional numerical suffixes of singular percentile points of specific moves.
That is exactly like Neo.
Oh, well then just okay, back to Scorn. Back to Scorn.
When I picked up a pair of pants and it said, "Yep, here's the 6 things this does, and one of them is a huge bonus if you get the full set." So that's all there. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It is funny because it's like some of those bonuses are ignorable ultimately, but if you want to optimize, you're going to need to think about it, and if you don't want to think about it, then yeah, there's no making that easier. Although did Strangers of Paradise do a bunch of that as well?
Oh, it sure did.
Okay. Was it just the game was better than that convinced you to like that didn't turn you away from it because other things were better?
There was a fat button on the screen that said optimize my gear in Strangers of Paradise. And it would optimize your gear for the job you were currently playing.
I don't know if there's one in this.
And that worked all the way up until you beat the primary story.
Okay. There might be one in this, but I don't
it worked a lot better in Stranger of Paradise than the others because it was like a specific class. Right? You were like, oh, I'm playing Berserker or I'm playing whatever.
Apparently this has one. I don't know if that makes a difference for you, but apparently
it does. Makes a big difference, actually.
Okay, so yeah, optimize button. Yeah, I mean, I get the feeling that the whole point of Team Ninja's iterative process here is to keep all these quality of life things in every game that they make going forward.
I think they should iterate part of the game that they like out of it. Because I don't like it.
Hey, look, man. We've been down this road. The crafting is just a net negative in my life. Like I don't need it, want it, or care for it. At best, it's inoffensive. The longer the ingredient list, the more resentment I have.
I have had a really, really complex relationship with crafting in video games. If crafting is like a mandatory experience in order to enjoy the parts of the game that I want to play, it's very frustrating. Like, I don't like that Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth has a crafting system for its weapons. I didn't like it in 7 either. It's annoying, and I'm annoyed that in order to get Ichiban's best weapon, I have to build it. I don't like it.
It's a step of busy work obfuscation from the reward that usually would come in an older game design after you've done the thing to earn it. If the result of beating a Mega Man boss was you've gotten the bubble gear, but now you have to go get the bubble ammo, and then you have to get the bubble case shell from somewhere, you know what I mean, and do 5 things and combine them to then get the bubble gun. Fuck, like, why? Like, fuck that. That's not fun to me. That's not interesting. It's creating an extra step that allows for more busy work, which is not the kind of game design that draws me in anyway. You're putting you're breadcrumbing a thing that didn't need to be breadcrumbed, and it's just annoying. Delayed gratification in the worst way.
On the flip side, when it's like Final Fantasy 14 crafting, I've actually enjoyed that a good deal because it has its own classes and its own system and it's its own little game. And I'm choosing to engage in FF14 crafting because I want Gil from other players, and also I can do things that help friends of mine if they need gear. Right?
In my stint with Monster Hunter, the entire game design is about killing a thing to use its guts to craft something. So, like,
I feel like it gets a free pass because it's the whole game.
Exactly, right? And furthermore, like,
it's the whole game.
You're getting a weapon and armor based on the thing you did, and it's like, it's the entirety. It's all of it, right? The payoff is really sick for what you're doing in a way that is like, the whole point. That gets a free pass. Exactly. It's when you insert it into somewhere else, like I just described, where it just doesn't need to be there. Your point is you want to get this reward, but by breaking it up into these delayed incentive systems, you can make it so that you have to do a bunch of extra side quests in addition to this main one to get the sword you want or whatever the fuck.
Let's make a comparison between boy, this is going to be unfair. Rise of the Ronin, which has its suffix crafting system, and Elden Ring, which has the item crafting menu, which I don't know anyone. I have not spoken to anyone either online or in person that was like, yeah, that was really useful. I made a lot of items in Elden Ring so that I could right. because I'm going to Elden Ring or Rise of the Ronin because I want to wander around an area and fucking fight things.
It's not for me, but Minecraft also gets a pass because that's also the point, and discovering.
Oh, that's just Legos.
It's just Legos, but like the unlocking recipes of how to whatever do stuff is also the entire thing. That's all you're doing is new type of rock. What if rock plus other type of wood? You know, but yeah, when it's not the game's design is based around the idea of crafting, but in fact the genre was fine without it, and you just stuck it in there. Like, fuck off with that. Anyway, so that was
so
fun.
Basically, at the end of the day, Wooly, what we've discovered is that crafting is good when we like it and bad when we don't.
Pretty much. But yeah, I can you know, but I can say that about almost any system that is like, if this is a system I don't like, but the game is designed around this system, then yes, of course that's gonna be fine.
And then it gets complex, because like I remember Stranger of Paradise, we know people who are massive, insane people for Stranger of Paradise, and how the DLCs would kind of ask you to engage in the crafting more because you'd get stronger and need stronger gear. To which I say, I don't want to do this. Why do I have to do this? To which they respond, that's a huge part of the game, is its loot system.
Right.
And that's like a huge focus of the game, is that it has that complex and in-depth loot system. And my only response that I can say to that is, shut up. I don't care. Get it out of there. Which is not really the most like open-minded or reasonable response.
I also did like come into Dragon's Dogma not expecting the faffing about in the forest and running back and forth shit to be like that is the game. I was like, oh,
yeah, that's like the game. Yeah,
I thought that was the busy work between quests that were going to be big, dramatic, epic, and you know, giant arena boss fights of splendor and team whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, big narrative fantasy settings.
No, it's about wandering around lost in the muck
and running into NPCs who are constantly trying to turn your attention towards them.
I hate that God. Like, you played a little bit of Monster Hunter World, and like, you remember the scout flies that would snap your fucking neck off when you discovered something, and like, you go over there, like, stop it. Don't take control of my camera away from me, please.
But this is the compromise for not giving you quest markers. It's
of any kind.
Yeah, they're like, we don't want to give you quest markers, so instead we're going to rip the controller away from you sometimes to make sure you can't miss things. But it's like, you can just use quest markers.
I'd be fine with the other one.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's what I'd be fine with.
So that's all fine. Also, this week we took a look at Double Dragon Gaiden. That was a sponsored stream. That'll be coming out, as well as we played some Skullgirls. Checked out the DLC characters there. Short but just quick thing to say on the Skullgirls DLC with Marie, Black Dahlia, Annie, and Umbrella. Really fun in that those are the characters that add subsystems to the way they play, and I kind of find, like, similar to how like Strive adds like subsystems to their characters.
I was about to say, they're Guilty Gear characters.
They're kind of Guilty Gear characters. Yeah, they like no one in Skullgirls that I can remember really needed to have another meter as a part of their HUD somewhere, but here these new characters do, and it's at the top just under their portrait, where Black Dahlia has like the ability to reload 6 different types of bullets, you know, and that's a big part of her. And then those bullets interact with you know, the way she fires them, different arcs, those are all different. But then she has a super that is a barrel that can detonate, and she can kick the barrel or hit it or shoot it at you and then light it on fire, and then that's a part of the system. She's got another super that is a TNT dynamite that you time, and you can let it beep for as long as you want and then, you know, detonate it on top of the oil that you've already put down. So she has just, you know, weapons that play and interact with each other in like a big cyclical way, and it's cool to have that kind of setup for a weapon character with her. And then you've got Umbrella, who has kind of like Sin with the hunger meter. Umbrella has like a command grab that like you need to keep the umbrella fed but not overstuffed, because if it's too hungry, if it's too stuffed, it's slower, but it also gets a lot of advantage and can do big crazy shit. But there's like a magic sweet spot that you want to stay not starving, not hungry, and it's like playing with subsystems on these DLC characters. Pretty cool stuff. And of course, Marie is out there, and she's pretty interesting as well. I like the extra characters they've added with each round here. Fun game to come back to. Killers are still out there. Jumped online, got murdered top to bottom.
Killers are always still out there for anything nowadays.
But to be fair, for a game like Skullgirls, when I say I'm going to play it and I'm going to jump online, that's everyone's cue to go over to the Discord to report that I'm streaming it, and then to go get the stream snipers to come in and murder. So mission accomplished. That went down.
Man, it'd be a shame if a really high level player came and beat me up at Skullgirls.
So all of that coming out soon. But yeah, this week, more Helldivers, some more Yakuza, and I'm waiting on.
I had an incredibly bizarre moment on my last Infinite Wealth stream in which I ran into characters from the cabaret that you were doing at the same time.
Whoa. Interesting. That's cool. Huh.
And they look exactly the same. These bitches are in their 50s and they look great.
Hell yeah. Nice. Yeah, and then this Saturday, either I'm waiting on confirmation, but we'll either look at Strive with Test Your Luck, and if not that, then we'll do Eddie Tekken. He's out, and he's breaking that game apart. Eddie's really strong, and
that's Eddie Gordo.
It's an issue. Some other stuff.
Is it the same thing? Is it I'm gonna just hit buttons and
you can do kick and go nuts with him. But he also breaks the system in a couple other ways that are not shared by the rest of the cast. He has a lot of shit that tracks that doesn't look like it should. But then they also updated the game itself to change some stuff.
I have a mixed review score on Steam.
Wall breaking has gotten more inconsistent and weird. There's some stuff that's just busted. There's some bugs where in the middle of a heat activation, people are moving in the stopped time. So fucking,
listen, Wooly.
They gotta get a patch coming.
What you need to do is stop complaining, and what you need to do is buy Ball for $3.
I think as long as they say to everybody that what you're investing in with these ridiculous cosmetic prices is the eventual Waffle House stage. You are buying the Waffle House slowly but surely. This is there's a battle pass that leads to Waffle House at the end.
I heard Tekken was getting a battle pass for cosmetics. I was like, yeah, whatever, okay. And then like the day it came out, I saw people saying, yeah, some of the removed cosmetics from Tekken 7 are in this battle pass. I'm like, oh, okay, that sucks actually. That actually sucks. Tons of shit.
Shout outs to buying a bunch of points to spend that you can never spend the exact amount. You always have to buy more than the cost of the thing. Like literally pachinko, like parlor, like tactics. The oldest, simplest trick in the book of how much you need versus versus the pack that you get. Fucking Chuck E. Cheese tickets. You know what I mean? Like we're going back to the simple ass. Like, nah, you got to spend more than you need.
I'm just gonna play more Helldivers. I'm probably gonna buy those war bonds because Helldivers has been so straight shootery about it, and I'm having such a good time. I don't feel bad. I don't feel like I'm being taken advantage of.
That's one way. I mean, for me, I'm happy with the Steve costume that I have.
Yeah, that's the other problem. They gave it to you too good at the beginning.
I have no incentive to go any further than what I've got. It's pretty fucking sick, so we're just gonna ride that out for now.
I bet there's a bunch of I would like people to write in actually for the emails of like DLC costumes for games that had like cosmetic shit, and you looked at it and go, fucking, I'm never gonna buy any of that shit. That looks awful.
Golden weapons in Overwatch. The worst.
Oh my
the
God.
Worst. Who wanted? They looked so terrible.
Yeah, can I just say gold weapon in anything?
God, always.
No, wait, stop. I forgot. I knew guys who liked gold weapons. They were the Madden guys I described earlier. It is a normie badge.
Unless you are piloting the Hyakushiki, the golden fucking Char suit. Like, unless that's what you're rocking top to bottom, it's always garish and terrible.
Yeah.
Such a bad idea.
Awful. Hideous.
Anyway.
Let's take a quick piss break, huh?
Yes.
Wait, I forgot. Part of my stream this week on Friday night, I'm going to be covering the 14 live letter. It's the last live letter before the media event in a couple months, so they'll probably show off new Dawn Trail shit.
Is this trailer to the trailer?
No, this is going to be
announcement
details.
To the announcement.
The job trailer will be at the next thing.
Okay.
So the way that it works is that 14 like patch cycle and release cycle and media cycle is so specific and never changes that people know what's going to be at each event beforehand.
Okay.
So this one's going to be going into features, into more of the graphics update. It'll probably release the benchmark, which is actually really important this time because Dawn Trail's increasing the system requirements. So I have a bunch of friends that are like, I don't know if my fucking old computer can do Dawn Trail, so I gotta fucking give me that benchmark.
So each of these, there's more things to announce they haven't yet announced, and then you get all of them by the time you
it's oh, you're all the way out on this. Okay, hold on. Let me backtrack a little bit. So Final Fantasy 14 does a live letter every 2-3 months.
Yeah, I
recognize
that word.
Basically state of the game, and here's what's coming, and if there's an expansion nearby, here's some more details. So like the last live letter, they spent like fucking 40 minutes going, here's the graphics on the new character models' heads.
Right, and then and then you get the side by side, and that's gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. BRB.
Piss.
Okie doke. Let's take a quick word from our sponsors. This week, Castle Super Beast is sponsored by Dragon's Dogma 2.
Really?
Check it out.
But I love Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah! So, Dragon's Dogma 2 is available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. It's rated M for mature. And if you haven't heard us talking enough about it already, that is a game that we have been spending many hours in recently. From wandering around, creating really accurate, realistic-looking versions of you and Paige and me and Reggie, and spending a bunch of time in the character creator as well with the amount of detail you can go into. It's pretty awesome. I was able to even get my little piercings going with the facial details and the hairstyles and everything like that. That was really cool. Yeah, and the pawn system that allows you to create a partner to kind of roam through the adventure with, that is going to learn that you can give different vocations and different abilities. Recently, Wooly was just the kind of person that was going into battle, being trustworthy and keeping it tactical, and I thought it would be super handy to give him the ability to sort through my pack, and every time it got heavy, just lighten the load, get rid of rotten stuff.
Oh, the logistician specialization.
Exactly. And that was awesome. So now I don't have to worry about that part of it, because I used to pick up too much junk, and now he's just like managing that. And then every time he goes off into the rift, he's able to come back with a different haul. Other players can give him rewards. It's a pretty cool system.
I made sure that Big Page had the ability to talk to elves.
Yeah, and as I'm getting to an area where elves are going to be popping up more often. That seems like a pretty handy thing to have. So I switched out to a pawn that would have the ability to speak Elvish. Yeah, it's an asynchronous online play mode that's really unique and very interesting and different in how this game plays out. In addition to the 10 different vocations that you can pick for your Arisen and your main pawn. I've started out the game so far playing as a mage. I switched over to sorcerer for a bit, and then now I'm playing as an archer. You get the ability to kind of jump around, and as you experience each class difference, each vocation difference, the skills you can mix and match some of them on whatever you've unlocked in some of the vocation screen abilities. So yeah, you get a bunch of different ways to play the game and different groups you can roll with. If you want 4 archers, that's a very specific way to play the game. That's going to be very different from 4 fighters, right? Yeah, this is as well a game where the world is pretty living and breathing. I talked about how I wandered back to an old town only to encounter it
dragon
sieged by a dragon, and I had my main pawn was dead at that time, so we had to fight it with one pawn down. And it was that was a special event that was like, hey, you happen to wander back to this place just on curiosity, something's going down, hope you're ready for it.
There's a lot of special events based around wandering back to areas that you didn't think would have anything going on.
Yeah, so even exploring that map, like keeping up with what's going on as well, you'll never have the same experience necessarily. So very cool with that unique element as well. We've again been going back and forth in it, and I believe I tweeted out last night as well the location of a rift stone that you can summon some pawns from. The one that I found was it said you can hire female pawns of large stature.
Large stature.
Yep. So just in case anyone wanted to find out where that was, I put a little tag on the map there for you. There's all kinds of fun stuff you can do in Dragon's Dogma 2. So yeah, go check that out. You can go to dragonsdogma.com to buy the game and start your epic quest today. Once again, available on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, Steam, rated M for mature. Thank you, Dragon's Dogma 2.
I love you, Dragon's Dogma 2.
The podcast this week is also sponsored by Shopify. Cha-ching is the sound of a sale on Shopify, and that is the leading global commerce platform that's going to help you at every stage of your business.
Bro, I don't know what leading global commerce even is. I need help.
That's exactly why you need help, right? It's real simple. It's the people that will help you if you are trying to start your business out and figure out how to take podcasting, for example, from talking into a microphone to a thing where you're like, hey, I have a t-shirt. Maybe I want to sell that. How can I get a t-shirt to somebody? Maybe you're going to get some pins. Maybe you're going to get a little sticker. Maybe you're going to expand that shop, and you're going to try to figure out how to get it, integrated on your YouTube page. Maybe you're going to try to figure out how to get the shop working so that it ships to all the right places. And maybe you're going to want to track all that data as you grow. So it's perfect for your first sale all the way up to, did we hit 1 million? Whoa. Whatever your business scales at, Shopify is there for you. It's got an award-winning help support system that'll help you with every step of the way. It's powering 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. It's a leading global force behind a number of brands, including Allbirds, Rothy's, Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs across every size. And they've got all the information that you're going to want to see how your sales are going, what to do next, how to ship things out, who to ship it to. And they're in 175 countries. So really, it's if you don't know how to get that aspect of your business up and running, Shopify is the place to take it. You can right now, excuse me, I lost where I was. There I am. So right now you can sign up for a $1 a month trial at shopify.com/superbeast, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/superbeast now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/superbeast. Thank you, Shopify.
Thank you, Shopify. I love you.
This week, the podcast is sponsored by Raycon. And Raycon is offering you those everyday earbuds, wireless. You can get amazing quality audio at half the price of other premium audio brands, and you can get the wires out of your life. In particular, the latest model, you can get the E26, which, I was trying out, and something awesome about it is its ability to connect to 2 different Bluetooth sources, so that if you have, let's say you're connected to your phone and your computer, you can have it know which one is active and then just automatically switch back and forth according to what you're using. And the moment one is not active anymore or not playing, it'll just know to switch over to the other one.
I don't know how this works. The technology is crazy.
It's incredibly useful for not having to resync multiple devices. So
I hate syncing multiple devices. It's crazy. I always break it.
Yeah. So this is a great feature on that, in addition to the 32-hour battery life with 8 hours of playtime. So you're not worried about running out. And the optimized gel tips designed to fit comfortably in your ears and actually stay there. So that's perfect for if you're boxing, for example, and you want to move around and, make sure that they don't fall out. Go to buyraycon.com/superbeast today to get 20% off your Raycon order plus free shipping. That's right, you'll get 20% off plus free shipping at buyraycon.com/superbeast. buyraycon.com/superbeast. Thank you, Raycon.
Thanks, Raycon.
And this week, the podcast is sponsored by Factor, who are all about getting you the fresh, never frozen, chef-crafted, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals in just 2 minutes. That's a lot.
Listen, there's only so long you can survive on cereal, walnuts, and banana chips.
Yeah, you're going to need to do better for yourself, especially if you are trying to eat in a way that is balanced, calorie smart, if you're doing keto or protein, if you're vegan, vegetarian, or just, again, balanced regular meals. You're going to want to be able to eat smart and get a lot of choices as well. They've got a menu of 35 options every week, and you can get more than 60 add-ons added to that as well. So you can customize for breakfast, on-the-go lunch, snacks, beverages, whatever you need to help you feeling good all day long. Yeah, just make it easy. Take the stress out of your life. Take the wasted time out of your life with meal prep, with the groceries, with all of that stuff. And check out Factor's ready-to-eat healthy meals in 2 minutes. Leave it up to the chefs that know better how to get you something that tastes good and is good for you in the least amount of time as possible. They've optimized it. They've min-maxed food. Head to factormeals.com/castle50 and use code castle50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next box. That's code castle50 at factormeals.com/castle50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next box while your subscription is active. It's kind of like net decking for food, right?
It is kind of like that.
Yeah.
That's an interesting comparison, Willie.
Thanks, Factor.
Thank you, Factor.
Okay. Top of the docket, we got breaking news.
Breaking fucking news? What?
There was a Yu-Gi-Oh! Day event in Japan, and a player posted on Twitter that they met a female player at this Yu-Gi-Oh! Event. They exchanged some pleasantries, and it was understood that this was the first time that the female player participated in an offline event after only playing Master Duel. That player then left the tournament halfway through. So the person who met the female player was concerned that the meta environment wasn't too friendly for new players, and he posted that he hopes that the female player wouldn't give up on the game. That post then went viral, and the female player saw it and clarified that she left halfway, not because she was sad about losing her match, but because she couldn't stand the smell in the venue.
No foreigners allowed, but you, Stinky, get in.
We covered a story a couple years ago about how we covered. Yes, like a fucking press journalist hat.
Whatever, man.
We talked about a story a couple years ago about how there was a rule about hygiene that was introduced, like 5 years ago, probably at this point. That apparently Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments it got so bad that they had to make an official ruling on hygiene to say that you could be kicked out if you didn't smell good enough.
Dude, that was in the U.S.
I see.
So,
okay.
We've covered various forms of this story for Yu-Gi-Oh!, Smash, and I believe Warhammer. It's a known thing. It's just a thing. And every community deals with it in a different way.
Oh, the hygiene rule was not international necessarily. Okay. Well, fuck, man. That's brutal. That sucks. Yeah. That if I was like a TO and like that would be a time to have a real moment of self-reflection and like enforce like that's where it's like, okay, what can we set up a booth? Can we set up a quick shower and change where we'll provide you with here's a t-shirt if you need one, here's towels. Like I don't know. That would make me very sad if I was running that event.
So a long time ago, I worked at a call center service, right? And there was a day the girl who smelled sat next to me, and it was bad. She was smelly, and she usually sat in the corner and did her stuff, but this was a more central location. And the guy walked out, and then he walked right back into his office, and then he walked right back out and said, "Everybody go home. You guys need to take shower. All of you need to take a shower."
Yeah.
And literally just tanked the entire workday after like 30 minutes and sent like 50 people home. Oh, and then we came back the next day and it was exactly the same. And then that person, they found a reason.
Oh,
they
man.
found a reason to let her go.
Oh, man. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's an
this is a person that was in some of my classes.
That's an embarrassing meeting, but you got to sit the person down and say, "Can you do something about this?"
This was a person that was in some of my classes, and she was like, "I can't believe I got fired." And I was like, yeah? Did they give you a reason? She's like, "No. They said something about like it wasn't a good fit or something." And in this situation, I'm like, I really wish you weren't talking to me. I wish you were standing further away from me in this class.
If this were at any place that were not a fucking call center, you would imagine be a series of meetings to be like, "Hey, can you do something about this?" Right? Because that happened in QA. There were
really in quality assurance.
Yeah,
really?
There's a level it's not the bar is not very high, but there is a bar. It's really low, and
really? Wow.
There were two particular people that I remember did not meet that bar, and yeah, it was like, "Hey, can we take you aside for a minute and just you need to do something about this?" And in both cases, no, in one case there was no change. In the other case, there was a change, and it was extremely temporary, and then it went back to being the same after a very short period of time. Yeah.
I don't.
Also, as you're describing that too, I'm just reminded of how, like, I'm trying to pinpoint the exact time. There was an exact time in my life where I realized that, like, girls are stinky too. I want to say I probably made it to like grade 3.
What?
Or so, like, I remember I just remember thinking like, no, girls are always gonna smell like perfume.
What, you never caught your mom like farting it up?
Nah, that didn't happen.
Oh yeah, okay.
That didn't happen really. That was not going down. No, there was a very, very fucking flower, perfume, whatever type of experience I had, where yeah, all girls are gonna smell nice and kittens and rainbows and puppy dogs, right? And then
grew up in a household with its older sister that was 8 years older than me.
I grew up with no girls in the house until much later. Yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, no, that dream is dead as soon as it's dead.
No, there was a point. And then around college, it was like, "Oh, bitch, you live like this?" Like I met a couple of those where you're just like, "What the fuck is happening?" So that was the turning point
for me. It wasn't like, "Oh, girls can whatever." It was like, "Yeah, I'm a teenage boy, whatever, but my shit's not together. My room is a fucking sty." And then I saw I went to my sister's apartment because she had moved out, and I was like, You're the smart one in this family. Why is this place look like this?
Yeah. like if you grew up, I'm sure if you grew up like with a sister, like in your immediate family, you probably got experience. You got exposed to that nice and early, and just like fucking, you know. But yeah, that was delayed, and it's like, oh no, like the gross fucking like boys locker room gym sock smell shit, or the smell of the fucking elementary school Lost and Found. Like it's a very specific visceral memory that I have, where you get hit by that in someone's room and you're like, what is happening? Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, man.
No
Equality.
good.
Everybody stinks. As long as you gotta take steps though.
I mean, there was that one Red Bull tournament, Adrenaline. I took the photo when they just, you know, they had all the Smash setups with the CRTs and a little axe spray, a mini axe spray on top of each one of them.
You know, maybe I'm not the person to talk about this, because axe and all that stuff makes me violently ill, right? Because I have a perfume allergy. But adding more smell to a bad smell isn't saving anything.
For you, I understand you have an allergy that makes it infinitely worse, right? Because that goes from unpleasant to like chemically poisonous.
But I don't even mean that. It's just chemically poison on top of the thing unmodified.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The thing is just, I will still take a Febreze over the noxious toxin scent, as opposed to like no Febreze.
Oh no, Febreze removes smell. Febreze actually neutralizes smell. Axe doesn't. Axe is just a very strong smell on top of whatever smell you're trying to hide.
I mean, I don't know what then. And yeah, then I guess we're just gonna have to install showers. It's
like, oh man, it smells like ass in here. Oh, let me spray some. Oh, cool, it smells like lemon scented ass in here.
I mean, for me, the Febreze mango fucking thing, it goes on top of it. It's all it is. But there's a reason why restaurants and public places put that in a bathroom sometimes, because it's like, yeah, that'll do. It'll be less. It's better than nothing. It's not the best solution, but it's better than nothing, you know?
Just wash your fucking pits and your fucking genitals and your ass.
But the problem is, if we have to create a rule, that means it's not landing. It means it's just not, it's not compatible. It's not compatible with the current group of people that we are or with our audience that we're reaching. So,
man,
like, do you do a sniff check and banishment? Or,
yes,
you know, that's a possibility.
Yes. You have a team of judges. You have 3 people.
You know, I think like if you are in a hotel and you have like a room booked or something, then you can at least be like, hey, you can actually go up to this room that we've rented to use the facilities there, and here's a Yu-Gi-Oh t-shirt. You know, do you have something you can change into? If not, maybe we can provide that. Maybe there's a little bag you get, a little goodie bag that's like,
no,
$20.
No,
here's a change of clothes.
One of the TOs, part of your entry fee goes to pay the guy who smell checks you on the way in, and if you fail the smell check, they bring you outside and they fucking strip you down and they hose you down like a dog.
Hose you up, yes, yeah. with the big old fucking extra strength hose spray. Yeah, out back. Oh man.
My tolerance for this is so low.
The problem,
it's so low.
The problem is that what if it turns out to be 4 out of 5 people at the door? Like, what if your entire attendance like is in
that's when you hit the button that blows up the whole building and takes them all out.
Well, then you drop the stratagem on your location. Yeah. No, I'm you know, legitimately, like, if you had to solve this problem, I think you'd have to just rent a room from the hotel and give people a bag with shit to change into. That's all I can say, because clearly warning people and telling people and putting a rule and making it a thing is not working.
No, the genuine solution is lifetime ban on first offense. Because the punishment is so severe that like people will have to be careful about it.
Sorry, I was playing with I have a little No Johns, like, speaking of Smash Brothers, it's a controller finger thing you squish to, like, just and it suddenly just turned really hot and the gel got really hard. So I think I've used it up to its limit. And it's getting really, really hot, and I don't know why it's doing that. So this is I'm kind of concerned. Like, is this toxic? What the fuck is this material?
It's probably toxic. It is a Smash Brothers item after all.
Okay. The pocket warmers that I've used in the past have been.
You should eat it.
So the thing is that this. What? This has not turned hot before. What the fuck is... Okay, that's weird. All right. I've used pocket warmers that have been like the little cloth bag type thing. This thing has just been squishy gel for a long time now.
What the fuck is a pocket warmer? I've never heard of that.
There's hand warmers that you can buy. Well, in Quebec they have them all the time. It's it's a little bag you buy and you shake a bag and then it warms up and you can put it in your mittens or in your boots.
What?
Yeah. They sell them at Canadian Tire. It's a thing.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because it's really cold and wearing those is infinitely more comfortable. And I would not do certain activities if I didn't have them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're great.
Just be cold.
No. I choose not to.
My relationship with hot and cold is so fucked up. I was that weirdo who would just walk out into the winter with no coat on because it's not that cold.
You see, I spent the first years of my life acclimating to the Grenada
the
islands climate, and then I walked out back into this shit and never fully quite got there again. But the reason why I'm just super confused.
That sucks.
Yeah. It really did. It was brutal the whole time. When my friends would be like playing in the snow and, like, oh, I'll make snow angels or whatever, I'd be like, nah, I'm good on that. Thanks. I'm good on the skating, on the ice hockey, on all of that. I'm like, I don't need the cold. And when it was like, oh, snow job, let me kick snow in your face. It's like, oh, so violence then. We're fighting.
No, that's different.
You've kicked snow in my face, like going, ha ha, snow job. We're fighting now. This is how it's going down. No, fuck that. But anyway, no, this thing that I've owned for many, for more than a year now has just been a gel pack, but it's gotten hot and solid, and that's never happened.
Yeah, no,
before.
you were talking about smelly video game players, and it got really hot and hard.
Weird. I didn't think this was a warmer like that. Okay, that's weird. All right.
But yeah, no, lifetime ban for smelliness.
Yeah, I think the tournament itself would get will literally die. I think it like
good.
So that's not a constructive way of salvaging the problem. I think a more constructive solution might be one.
Like, hey, listen, if only 1 out of 5 people don't reek, then you can have the fucking winners be the fucking people who don't stink like shit. Done.
Look, there's FGC TOs in the chat right now. Spider, what's up? Running you mad. Thankfully things are not that bad in the situations where I've run shit, but having a room set up just in case is probably not a bad investment.
No, you know what? Okay, so let's talk. Before, I'm going to say one thing that's slightly unserious and one thing that is
DMs
serious.
have come in. You've gotten DMs about it? Yeah. Okay.
So if someone's determined to be stinky, they should be sealed away in a room of shame to play their set. Like fucking plastic.
You can participate from a distance.
Right? Well, like a lot of Korean esports stuff, the two players are like sealed off in their pods.
Right.
Right. But on a serious note, Wooly, if I sat down next to you, right, at a tournament, right? Like we don't know each other. Okay, hey, nice to meet you, Wooly. I'm your opponent. Okay, we sit down next to each other to play Street Fighter 6, right? And right before we start, I go, oh, hold up. And I stand up and turn towards you and just shit all over you. And just blast farts all up in your face and mouth, and then go sit down and go, okay, good, we're good. That would be unacceptable, yes?
Yes, you cannot, a ruling can be made.
So
on that.
If somebody walks in,
a biological attack has occurred.
So smelly that their body odor is physically affecting the person next to them, they are cheating.
There are already rules about this, as you can complain to a TO if the odor is too noxious. Like we already have that on the books.
Like Yu-Gi-Oh is already a fucking lame card game for dorks. We need to move away from your shitting yourself, not yet, and towards, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and wash my ass.
Yes, the problem is that this is going to exist in any activity that is the chosen activity of the no, not yet person, right? Any game and or hobby that makes itself any hobby that makes itself like that is it's the type of fixation the person that's not willing to shower is going to fixate on, is going to always have this problem. If you get rid of this thing, it'll be the next thing. But there's a category that, you're always going to run into this problem on. Yu-Gi-Oh, Smash, and other
I don't think you are always going to run into this problem if you just ban them for life every time.
The next multiplayer IRL event for the next card game and or tournament game that requires,
okay, you know what, fuck it, if you're playing a game like this that has this problem, never an in-person event ever again.
Never an in-person. The smell problem means just don't even run it. Okay.
Yeah, don't run the event, just have it online.
like I'm trying to figure out how to how to nail this, where it's like there is a category of game and hobby that's going to attract people that don't like bathing and don't care about that, because this hobby is the type of thing they can hyper focus on and not do that shit. I've told
this story before, and I'm apologizing if you've heard it 10 times. But I was walking with a friend of mine, and she looked and saw the Games Workshop and said, "Oh, what's that?
Oh, God.
That looks cool."
Right.
And she walked in, and she took a singular step into the Games Workshop. And I couldn't see her face because she had her back to me, because I went, "No, don't." Like, I actually held up my hand and went, "No, don't." But I saw every muscle in her body rigid, like just full freeze. Yep. And she didn't turn around. She backed out.
Yep.
And then we were on our way. The Games Workshop is, I don't know if it's as bad as it was. It was wild in there.
Some club spaces were different from others. You might recall.
Yes, I do.
Some club spaces in college were very different experiences.
There was one
others.
Club space that had immaculate hygiene, style, and makeup.
And diagonal from that space. Exactly diagonal from that space.
Was the other one.
Was Biocrimes, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway. other stuff going.
Stop being smelly.
Like, stop being smelly is unfortunately like rule, or like it's item 6 on a list of 25 things that need to be addressed. Usually
it is the bare minimum for participation in literally any part of society.
And this is the problem, is that this tournament might be the only participation in society that you're looking at.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. That's a really good point. I haven't been participating in society for 6 months, but that Yu-Gi-Oh!
But there's a tournament. I can go to that. I'm pretty good at that. I haven't been doing anything else but playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Might as well go try that out. Anyway, all right. So beyond that, so we talked about Nights in Tight Spaces. We talked about Helldivers. Oh yeah, Helldivers 2. We talked about the crashes, but the official word on that was hotfix for crashes is coming, not over the weekend. So let the game rest for a while.
Yeah, that was while we were trying to exterminate the bots, which was really funny. They're like, calm it down, guys. Everyone's like, no. Robots die now.
Speaking of robots dying now, the Yokohama Gundam will end its service this week. That's the really cool one that could actually move and look around.
Why do they keep ending the service of these fucking things?
Okay, so there's Odaiba Gundam, which was replaced from RX-78 to Unicorn, and they kept that in place. And I think they started probably working on this one at that time. They also have new Gundam over at somewhere else set up. And then this one, they're retiring its service. I'm assuming perhaps it's because they're starting on a new RX-78 that'll be even cooler, that they can reveal in a couple years' time.
That'd be cool.
Because that's what it was last time, right? The original Odaiba RX-78 didn't move, but this one came after that one, and this one was like 1-to-1 scale with it. So Fukuoka has the new Gundam. Yeah, exactly. So there's at least 3 places you can go see to scale Gundam, but the cool moving one at Yokohama shutting down and did its last demo. But they don't say why. There's obviously a budget cost associated with like running this shit regularly and, being a tourist attraction and stuff. It was supposed to shut down 2 years ago, but because of COVID, they extended it. Right.
Oh, right.
So it was planned to stop even earlier. But,
that's nice. They're like, well, nobody can see the robot because of the coronavirus.
But yeah, with any luck, we might get one that actually can not just look around and move out of the hangar a little bit, but, get a little bit closer to actually maybe doing like a last shooting pose or some rad shit. So yeah, if you missed it, you're going to have to catch one of the others because that one's gone. That's the one that I didn't get to see that one, unfortunately.
I've got some breaking news, but it's not has to do with video games or movies or anime or any of that nerd shit. Hey Wooly, have you ever eaten something called a Lunchable?
Oh, no, but I know what they are. Yeah, I remember those. The little from back in the day, they would be the little stick with the cheese and or like little ham and crackers and stuff.
Been found to contain dangerous amounts of lead.
Oh, what?
Research shows that Lunchables also have plastic chemicals that have been linked to reproductive problems, diabetes, and cancer.
Oh my, yeah, like. Okay, so I don't know if these are Canadians specific or not. Lunchables might be a Canadian thing, but
they're American thing.
They're American thing. Okay,
they're provided as part of school meal plans.
They're literally just recess packs for kids, like a Dunkaroos pack type of thing.
Yeah, the lead.
I mean, is that a recent bit?
That's today.
Did they have them when we were in school?
I don't know. I see Justin Wang talking about how he had how he didn't like Lunchables as a kid. So they've been around a while.
Yeah, no, my friends always had them. I never did because like ham slices is not going to work.
Good job dodging fucking lead poisoning, Wooly.
Yeah, we're not eating ham in this house, so that's not going down. Jesus Christ, man. Cool.
Put lead in stuff. What's the even point of putting lead in a food item?
I don't think it's putting the lead in as much as it is like the process of creation is using shit that leaves traces of it in the food.
Oh, that probably makes more sense. Yeah.
Right, somewhere along the conveyor belt, it's in there. It like because like stuff with fish and so on is more like it's whatever the ocean was doing at that period of time. But yeah.
A baby opens you up to the whole new world of nightmares. Okay, because we have our little man, right, and he's gonna start eating food and all that, and we're like, oh, well, what should we feed him? Oh, what, Gerber's having a baby food lead lawsuit right now. Fucking baby food.
And then there was that company from China that was making the children's toys that were supposed to be mouth chewable toys that also had fucking poison in it and shit. Yeah. Time to become a crazy woo-woo parent that just uses.
We're gonna make our own baby food.
Feed the baby with crystals.
We're gonna make our own baby food.
like, just use crystals and magnets. You know, Jesus Christ, man.
Like that.
Yeah.
That's the solution. Is like the fucking. The bottle of baby food, the one that's covered in plastic, I don't like. Feels like a fucking dice roll onto which one is poison. God. And you don't want to be the magnet parent, but at the same time, the Lunchables have had lead in them for 30 years. Wooly, we ate or drank something that was full of cancer shit.
Of course. Just somewhat in your neighborhood, there must be at least one person that's like a parent that's like starting down this road, though. Like, be careful. There might be someone that's like, because of this Lunchable stuff, I can hook you guys up with some fucking farm to table slurm.
Wooly, all I'm going to say is that Paige and I have, since moving to BC, definitely encountered some people that were very, very interested in healthy living.
Yeah.
Very.
It starts with the farm to table slurm. It might go past crystals and shit, and then the next thing you know, you're drinking your own piss and you're getting into anal bleaching.
Listen,
you're holding your anus out to the sun.
Wooly, 6 months seems really fast for what you're describing.
There are people that believe that if you hold your anus out to the sun, your body will feed.
That seems really fast.
On that, it just, for anyone confused, this is out there. All right. Anyways, speaking of cosmic horror, they're making a live action Dredge movie.
Okay,
it's been announced.
That movie should have no dialogue.
Yeah, so here's the problem is I wish this announcement was for a no dialogue animated short. I think this should be an animated thing that should be like 20 to an hour. And yes.
Glad we both had the same idea of like no talking.
None. Nope. Just pulling up rad crazy shit from the fucking water. Seeing the mayor gesture over to the old boat, seeing the old woman in the lighthouse,
a picture of your wife,
all of that. You can do it silently, but yes,
it should be Willem Dafoe.
It doesn't have to be live action, but it's gonna be. But it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, but if it is, it should be Willem Dafoe. He was cast in Antichrist for a reason, and then he was cast in Lighthouse for the same reason. He should be cast in Dredge for the same reason.
He's got the
which
face.
Willem Dafoe looks like a guy who made a deal with the devil.
He's got the face, and you can also put a toque on him.
He also loves the face. Like, one of the most interesting details about a movie that was otherwise kind of unremarkable was Spider-Man No Way Home. Or no, was that the multiverse one?
Yeah.
That had Willem Dafoe and what's the guy, the octopus man? He's the actor.
Doc Ock, but yes, yeah.
No, it's can't remember. But they both had opposing Alfred Molina. Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe had contradictory demands for appearing in that movie. Alfred Molina is like, you will de-age me with the robots so that I look better like I did back in the day. And Willem Dafoe was like, if you attempt to de-age me or with makeup or the robots, I will walk.
That's awesome. That's fucking sick.
Like Willem Dafoe knows that he's got a crazy person's fucking noggin.
But that's his career, right? It's like Buscemi. Like, your face and your wrinkles and your crevices are your career.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know it won't be a silent move, like animated feature. That unfortunately ain't gonna happen. So I'll settle for my second demand. There needs to be at least hard commit to a 2-minute bit of the captain just staring at his storage and trying to rotate a fish into place, and then putting a hook over there, and then trying to spin this codfish into place, and then like the swordfish has to go on top, and then just and trying to.
And then he gets frustrated and throws one of them into the ocean
and tosses one out and goes, "God damn it, fuck, that was a good one."
And
but I gotta toss
fisherman
it back.
is The Rock.
I mean, if not Chris Pratt, so that's how that goes. The Rock voiced by Chris Pratt.
The Mario thing has ruined Chris Pratt for me. It's hey, it's me, Chris Pratt. I'm a Mario.
I mean, look, if you're Andy on Parks and Rec, and then you parlay that into Star-Lord, you're gonna take that as far as it goes.
Sure,
you're gonna take every casting job that you can. You're in that position to choose what comes at you. You're gonna take all the fucking take that all the way to the bank. Anyone would, but yes, it just like now that's the punchline, unfortunately. Garfield. What? What part of, young, fast talking, quippy, anyway, whatever.
What's wild is that I remember thinking of this as the Nolan North problem, right? Because Nolan North has an incredibly wide range of voice acting talents, but everybody after Uncharted was like, do the Uncharted
voice.
Smooth white man with the hair. And it's happening to Chris Pratt, but because it's live action, or mostly live action, it's violent. It's just like he doesn't have enough explosive personal actor charisma to deal with being the leading man by himself as himself.
Speaking of Avengers, according to the franchise producer, the Sonic the Hedgehog films are aiming to be Avengers-level events.
Fuck yeah.
So that all the spin-offs can lead up to these big MCU.
Fuck yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's the only thing I can think of that justifies it. Absolutely.
God.
Absolutely.
I am suddenly teleported to the year 2001. And I feel like we're catching Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and the Matrix sequels, well, I guess 2 years later, just everything is like, these are dropping, and now all movies must be a trilogy filmed simultaneously.
So what you're saying is like we finally healed after the events of 2001?
Well, now it's God. Now it's Avengers formula. Obviously, CUs have been a thing for a while now, but just like you had a Sonic movie, you had a second Sonic movie, it was pretty good, and now we've got to turn it into an end game for every time a proper Sonic title drop.
Sonic deserves it. Sonic deserves it more than anything else, because Sonic has this wide-ranging cast of losers, but it is kind of fun to see them all at once.
Couldn't you just like let the Knuckles show come out and see what happens, man? Can you just see if it's any decent? Oh my God.
It's gonna be good because Knuckles is in it.
Sure. But now we're pointing at the WrestleMania sign going Cream spinoff and Chaotix, and
this one will feature a character the size of the average human mother.
And then they all come together for the eventual Sonic 3, but then Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and then so on and so forth.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, Blaze the Cat. I love Blaze the Cat. I'm still rolling my fucking eyes, dude.
Put a Blaze the Cat in Dredge.
But to be fair, which I don't need to be, this is a fucking producer talking on behalf of the franchise. And what is their job if not to say exactly this type of shit, right?
Yeah, man. It's basically every producer exists so they can get in front of a microphone and go, this thing will make the most money you've ever seen. Please give me more money now, though.
Speaking of people that shouldn't get in front of microphones, apparently there was a project to resurrect Friday the 13th with a fan mod and allow it to be playable, but it's gotten cease and desisted. It was announced on April Fool's, I guess, and it seems like possibly in an attempt to possibly like obfuscate the bit, but the mod, it was not even an original game, mind you, just a mod to bring the offline game back online and restore some cut content, was immediately C&D'd. So there you go.
Yay.
Yep.
Good one.
And the beat goes on and on and on and on and on. Play the GIF.
Dumb, stupid idiot. You know what people should do?
Let's go. Here we go.
They should announce projects and put out a screenshot constantly.
Oh,
don't work on them.
Oh, go the other way with it.
Just constantly.
No, this fails. No. Okay. No? I hear you, and I think, over just too much information, right? Overload it. But here's why this fails. The retained lawyers for these companies love the idea of wasting time on false leads that go nowhere.
True. Lawyers are evil.
The idea of 100 leads that go nowhere, but them being paid to C&D every single one of them is awesome.
You're right.
For that firm.
Damn.
You'll make partner on that shit. Anyway. All right, there's a bit here that's this one's a visual. There's a trailer released for a project, a movie called KILLTUBE. And it is
thank you for sending me the link.
An animated movie coming out in 2026, and it is visually fucking insane and awesome. And just take a look, and you'll
understand.
And your bit rate will die
very fast.
Your bit rate will die. I promise you, it will. But this is a movie that is being made that's going to take it's coming out in 2026. So watch this and then forget about it. And then when it's going to come back around, it'll be fucking insane. It's visual cocaine.
Each of these cuts is like a year of work.
Yeah. It's being made by an artist collective. Kazuaki Kuribayashi and an art collective called Wachajak and Kassen are working on this.
Why is so fast. I can barely even look at it.
If you want to approach something that is as woolly core as you can get,
yeah,
this trailer is fucking woolly core. KILLTUBE on YouTube. Don't watch it on Twitter because the Twitter
no, never watch anything on Twitter.
The Twitter bitrate is just pixels blurred. You can't possibly.
It's one of the worst video players ever.
And if you can catch this in 4K, do so. Yeah. Synopsis: the Edo period never ended. The case system reigns. In order to move up, you got to kill on stream.
Cool.
Edo punk. Yeah. So the same parts of the same hairs on my neck stood up watching this that did when I saw the trailer for Paprika. Where you just see the colors and the shit just going hard. That's my jam. I fucking love that. It never happened, but I got that from Urbance as well. That animated Kickstarter thing that never went anywhere, unfortunately. But I fucking I love when people play hard with the colors and shit like that. Incredible animation, freeze framing, multiple art styles, chaos.
Hey, this is going to be a really strange thing to ask you, but I'm looking at KILLTUBE, and this is unabashedly woolly core. Are you going to try Zenless Zone Zero?
Every time a trailer has played for Zenless Zone Zero, I've been like, if one of these fucking Hoyo games is going to do it,
it would be that one.
If one of them is going to do it, motherfucker.
Because, it's that style.
Yep. I've seen a lot of Hoyo character design trailers and action scenes, and someone sent in a big air battle with big explosions and fancy stuff, and I'm like, that's all fine. That's cool. But Zenless trailer understands the aesthetic, the color, the designs, the way the camera moves, the pauses, the freeze frames, the squash and stretch, all that shit. It gets that flavor, and I'm like, that's really sick. When I got that flavor off of some of those League of Legends music videos, I just watched those videos, to be fair, right? After Arcane, I went to go check out some of those videos, and I saw some sick fucking shit. But that stuff is not actually League of Legends. That's just supplemental material.
If you want to see a really fancy, oh man, I don't know, what the fuck is it called? If you want to see like a fancy animation flex, Honkai put out, what the fuck's it called? They put out a dancing scene that is just ridiculously, they spent just a ton of fucking animation money on it as a passion project.
Okay. The thing is, of course, is that if you do something that looks woolly core, but your actual source material isn't, it's just a celebratory cool video, then it's like, I'll just watch the video and that'll be dope. But if the whole thing you're making is that, then yeah, you might get me to take a look once or twice. Zenless Zone Zero's trailers have been fucking sick, man. Like, I can't.
Yeah,
pretend.
the game. So it's one of those weird things. Like, I'm getting the new phone, so I'm like, I'll probably give Genshin another shot. And it has no controller support on Android because of a exclusivity deal with Apple. Like, Apple has the exclusive rights to MiHoYo games controller support. And that's disappointing. But at the same time, like, I am never going to play a phone game with a fucking controller. The phone, like, I'm not carrying a controller, a phone controller in my pocket.
Okay, so I was...
when I go pick up food or when I go to the grocery store. Like,
so I was praising it, but that is ultimately what stopped me from beating World of Demons, the platinum phone game that you can play on Apple Arcade with a controller. Great game, really fun design, awesome everything going on with it. But to play it, you had to grab a controller and set it up and like play. You had to.
You had to? Like, it had no.
No. You could play with touch, but
yeah, okay.
To play it like and to have it feel good for me, I synced my controller to it, but I'm not often setting up my phone on a table to sit there and play it that way, you know?
Yeah.
If I'm at home, I'm going to play something on my computer or a console. So the opportunities to play it that way were just fleeting. But it was awesome otherwise, you know?
Yeah, I've played Genshin and and Honkai with phone controls, and they're completely fine. I assume it'll be the same thing with Zenless, even though it is a little faster.
Yeah, but on a curiosity though, like I would, if you can give the option to connect a controller so that when I am home and I do feel like playing it, I can do that, then that's fucking
well, great. Hoyo games also all come out on PC with full controller support.
There you go. Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's what it would take. All right, let's take some letters.
Hey, if you want to send in a letter, send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
All right. Here's a simple one coming in from Kaysen, who says, "Dear LL Wool J and Notorious PAT,
hey, man.
Mm-hmm. Let me lick my lips for a minute. Something like a phenomenon. I wanted to know if you had a favorite working title for a piece of media you enjoy. An example would be how the Powerpuff Girls was originally called Whoop Ass Stew, featuring the Whoop Ass Girls. I did not know that. That's pretty funny. And the professor, and they were made when the professor opened up a can of Whoop Ass. Really? I've never heard that. Other favorites are Disco Elysium, at some point being called No Truce with the Furies. That is extra cool if you read Sacred and Terrible Air, because you get the actual implementation of that phrase and where it comes from exactly. Ultimate Marvel was once known as Ground Zero. I've never heard that. Huh. Interesting. And the Fast and the Furious had 3: Racer X, Redline, and Race Wars. Yeah. So what are your favorite projects?
I mean, the one that jumps out into my mind is the Wii being the Revolution and the Dreamcast being the Katana.
Exactly. Project Revolution, Project Katana, Project Dolphin. Those are the big ones.
Those are great.
Yeah.
Those are all way better than what we got.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, true. On the docket, I didn't hit it, but Balatro got a big patch.
I'm looking for it right now.
Yeah. It's humongous. Yeah. It's a humongous patch. It's in beta, and then the full release is going to come out in about a week. And I started going down the list of changes, and it was like, okay, there's a couple big things, and then it's like, no, it's massive. It's changing the scaling
this is a very large.
Yes. All high difficulty stakes are going to have point requirement changes. It's going to change the way some advanced mechanics on higher difficulties work with legendaries. It's going to make it so that you always get
change the uncommon tag to make the uncommon Joker free.
I mean,
crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot, and there's most of these again are happening at higher stakes. Main thing though is this type of extensive change list is very interesting because it indicates that they're going to balance this game over time and keep up with it.
They're going to aggressively balance this game over time.
Which is fucking interesting because I did not expect this game about cheating in cards to get balanced. I thought breaking it was the point, but it's like, the higher difficulties, admittedly, as you start getting to them, like I can imagine they can get really bullshit because one of them, for example, was there's a boss fight that like forces you to pick one card. There's a change here that says like, oh, that's not going to happen on jokerless runs, for example, where you have to beat the game without a joker. You know, shit like that is like, well, you're just fucked in some cases. Like there's nothing you can do. So if you want to see this thing that is like fucking 100 different tweaks on patch 1.01c, that's going to be rolling out soon. Man, everybody's in.
This is great. Did you see that some people have gone through the work of porting Balatro to Android manually?
I did not. I see there's scam Balatro iOS apps out that are currently just like stealing people's money and making them think they're getting the game.
there were people that like, here's how you install Linux on your phone in a partition to get Balatro running on your phone.
Yeah, I mean, because otherwise, what? Steam Deck and that's it, right? So
yeah,
fuck. Yeah, big patch note for that.
That's crazy.
Any patch note whatsoever is like, oh, they're keeping up.
Thank goodness. I want the next patch note to be ported to Android, please.
That's a patch. Okay, here's one coming in from Chemo Force who says, "Dear Prawn Lords and Shmup Daddies, my favorite bug is unique to a PC port of a game from Chronicles of Riddick, Assault on Dark Athena, where
I remember that.
Yeah, upon leaving the game running idle long enough, for the screensaver going to the screensaver results in the game deleting your save file. There is no other fix than to simply disable screensavers altogether. What are some of your favorite bugs?" So I mean, an all-time classic I just came across was in Dogfight 1942. Someone posted a bug that was like, I can't see the trees. How can I fix this? I can't see trees. And then the fix is set your computer date back to 2012. Thank you very much. It works. Just like that's the problem. That's the solution. Incredible. Oh man. Yeah. No. I mean, a career of fucking terrible garbage that in many cases ends up just being indicative of like how lazy and or I get lazy or crunched a dev might be on a given project.
One or the other.
One or the other, you know. But you know, one of the classics, fucking this car in this shitty mobile game causes, you know, shit to the car doesn't work in this level, and whatever was like it was something bad, not like A class, but like B class was happening as a result, and the fix is just remove all red cars from the game.
That's one of my favorite stories.
And then of course there's the classic the dildo hunt in
but that's not a bug per se.
No, that is localization rules, you know. But anyway, yeah, set your calendar back to 2012 to see the
I can't remember what game it is, but my all-time favorite, I'm sure someone in the chat will mention it, was that it was discovered that if you uninstalled the game through its own uninstaller, the game's uninstaller would go delete the drive it was on, and if you had installed it to your C drive where the game wants to be installed, it would just format your C drive. Missed 2. And it would just brick your computer.
Man. The problem, the hardest...
Sorry, Myth 2. Myth 2.
The hardest thing, too, was that, like, PC games did not have standards. For a long time, there was just, yeah, do what you want. You know? Like, fill out this sheet that puts it so that it displays correctly on Steam. But what it actually does, like,
whatever, I don't care. You just do whatever.
All right, and let's take a last one over here. Shwame says, are there any generally smaller mechanics that certain games do that after playing them make other games feel frustrating to play? Wasteland 3 has 2 great ones. Getting to loot an entire battlefield off of just one corpse so that you don't have to go and click on every one of them.
That's a great mechanic. Some games have it, and when you play those games, it feels infuriating to go to another one.
Right. And the other is when you're controlling your whole group, you click on a door to unlock or trap disarm, and the character that's most proficient will automatically go do it instead of the main one.
Yeah, these are both fantastic.
That's incredible. That's
hard to go back.
That's beautiful. Yeah, even though it's not, it does frustrate me to have to swip to Asterion to pick locks in dungeons. Right.
It's that's a function of the way the game handles multiplayer.
Or having to get off my street server every time I want to pick up an item or wave in infinite wealth.
I'm gonna describe what I'm gonna term an anti-feature. You know how sometimes games will have animations to make things look pretty, and sometimes those animations will be you bending down to pick up an item.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, remove those.
You just want to click the button and have it drop into your inventory.
You didn't play Red Dead 2. Just remove them.
Okay. What about, though, axe picking on ore, right?
That's fine.
Because the whole point is that this takes time to pick at.
That's fine.
Okay. But just...
It's very similar to the olden days. Hey, Link, you got 50 rupees. Wow, that's crazy. Like, please stop. Please, I don't need it every time.
I mean, I think the ultimate in this is going back to any first or third person shooter before twin sticks existed.
Yeah.
You go back to play a third person shooter on PlayStation 1 or GoldenEye on N64 and having to like figure out what type of, is it L1 R1 left right turning? Mega Man Legends?
I beat Quake 2 on the PlayStation 1 and that was wild.
Or C buttons to strafe and then stick to move up and down, but left right is inverted and you're just like, how did we do this? Man, L1 R1 as a part of your navigation is crazy. Yeah.
Do you ever play Kingdom Hearts 1 on the PlayStation 2? Or did you just play the remaster?
I think.
Wait, the remaster's the same, isn't it? The remaster has you controlling the camera with the fucking triggers, doesn't it?
No, even when I saw some of Kingdom Hearts 1, I remember. Well, I just unlocked a memory. I was like, did I touch Kingdom Hearts for like an hour or two? Because I vaguely remember that.
Different? Oh.
I vaguely remembered like touching Kingdom Hearts for like an hour or two, and it's like, no. In the club spaces at college, I asked our friend that we know, the artist who had it, to record, to play the. She said, I we were talking about it. She said how amazing it was. I was like, I don't have the console, so she recorded herself playing the first hour or two of the Kingdom Hearts, and I just watched that.
That's crazy.
I watched my friend who recorded a VHS of them playing the beginning of Kingdom Hearts. Yeah.
Oh man, just even though it had an analog stick, it was like use L2 and R2 for the camera because they wanted the right analog stick to be controlling your move set, like moving your menus.
I mean, Mega Man Legends, like, after enough time, you get used to it, but
it's built around it.
Yeah, well, there are boss fights where you strafe and you're running down and you're running through the city and you're deliberately wanting to lock into a certain direction, but it still is just like, like it just feels, going back to that, it's just unintuitive versus like anything afterwards where it's like, oh yeah, you can pick up and not think about it, Anyway, that's the biggest one I can think of. Alrighty.
Is there anything else like that? Nah, I'm done. I have no ideas.
I mean, Monster Hunter thumb thing, right?
Oh yeah, no, 3DS. The ability to use your buttons to swing your weapons. Definitely hard to go back after enjoying that. You know what? For any game like Monster Hunter, when they added item sets, that was a big deal. Because before that, you would have to go and manually put in all the items that you used, and it added like 10 minutes to every single hunt.
I will defend analog stick to attack in three contexts, technically.
Yeah, what's that?
Raiden.
Yeah.
And Fight Night 3.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That's it.
Yeah. And Skyward Sword. I was right. I told you all. And Ape Escape. Yes.
Die on that hill.
I will.